Okay, Bulldog fans, please welcome Jim and Susie Kapnick this afternoon as our honorary captains and coin flippers. Jim and Susie have been loyal friends and neighbors to Adrian College for many years. Jim is the CEO of Kapnick Insurance Group, and this family-owned business has been a staple of Lenawee County for over 70 years. This year, due to the loyalty and generosity of Jim and Susie, the entire Kapnick family, and the wonderful employees of Kapnick Insurance Group, the new field here at Docking Stadium has been appropriately renamed Kapnick Field. In addition to Adrian College, the Kapnick family continues to be highly involved with various civic organizations with a focus towards serving basic needs to those less fortunate, education, economic development, and the arts. Jim and Susie have 3 adult children and have been blessed with 2 grandchildren, Emma, Emmett, and Ava, who are joining them on the field today. Ladies and gentlemen, give a huge Bulldog welcome to Jim and Susie, Emmett, and Ava.
How's Kevin doing? Anybody ever hear from him? Oh, okay. Well, he's probably making some decent money. You know what's nice about these games, Mace, is that when the game's over, it's
Okay, Albion, you're the visiting team. The Bulldog will be heads. That will be the tail. Okay. Jack, Jim, come up here, please. Your call. Tails is called.
Oh, thank you, sir.
You got it. Turn around, guys. Turn around. Face your direction. Adrian won the toss. Receive. Albion kickoff. Good luck, gentlemen.
Alright, Bulldog fans, it may be a little chilly out today, but it's about to get hot with football action. Get ready for the first half of Bulldog football.
Back here at Docking Stadium, the 4-2 Albion Britons will kick it away to the 3-3 Adrian Bulldogs. This game is underway. Kick from Andrew Fabry is taken at the 12-yard line, and a stumbling return just across the 20. Get our first look at Jack Werzer, the fine freshman quarterback of the rest of this Adrian offense.
Mace, I did a game with Adrian a couple of weeks, 3 weeks ago or maybe or so, and I did his debut as a quarterback, and yeah, he played real well, I guarantee you.
Doesn't have prototypical collegiate quarterback size at just 5'9", but he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. 14 touchdowns against just 2 interceptions, and he can run a little bit, which takes a little bit of the pressure off Emmanuel Stewart, the outstanding senior tailback. Werzer looks to throw on first down on a post. That pass is tipped and intercepted off the hand of Donovan Slates and into the waiting arms of Josh Pedelt.
Well, you know, Macy always throw the cliche out about sports being a game of inches, and here it is right here. It's just a drive slant, and it just if it's 2 inches higher, he doesn't make the tip. It doesn't get intercepted, and the Adrian players got open field for about 30 yards. So it's just, here it is, another look at it. Dom's giving us a look. There's the tip, and then the back end of the interception.
Had that found its way to Jaron McGaw, he might have been off to the races. He had a step on the corner. Rayshawn Robinson. Albion in business after just 8 seconds. Kyle Thomas, the lefty, flushed out of the pocket, will race out of bounds.
You know, it's an interesting thing about lefties, Mace's quarterbacks. For the most part, it holds true. They're accurate 0 to 18, 0 to 20. They're very accurate. They don't drive the ball as hard as right-handed throwers. They don't move their body weight. They don't transfer the weight as well as a right-hander, but they're very accurate 0 to 20.
On second down, it's a give around the right end to Doug Freeman. Part of a two-headed monster at tailback for the Britons. Not much there. You'll see plenty of Doug Freeman, number 28, and Markel McCoy, number 23 today.
Mace, everybody tries to get outside today with variations of green base sweeps or jet sweeps. And, you know, defensively, if you can set the edge, and by setting the edge, I mean that the outside backer or the defensive end doesn't allow you to get to the corner. And that time, Adrian did a great job of setting the edge.
The Adrian player receiving attention there is Kevin Smitherman, big number 99. He's having a phenomenal freshman year, leads this team in sacks and tackles for loss with 4 and 5 respectively. Good to see the big man from South Haven, Michigan, help to his feet.
Yeah, he's walking a little gingerly, but I think he's going to be all right. And Smitherman did smother that play. He shut it down there, Mace.
Nicely done, Tom.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Mace, you know, the game has really changed a lot with the targeting and tackling differently. You can see the safety factor in the game, protecting the quarterbacks. It really is changed a lot. You'll never take the physicality totally out of the game, obviously, but they've really made it a lot safer.
Tough to tell what happened to Smitherman there. It was behind the play by a few yards. Albion lined up ready to go, but Kevin Smitherman has not yet made his way off the field.
Yeah.
He's still a few steps away. When we do resume, the Britons are facing 3rd down and 9. Thomas, a very good passing quarterback, completes 61% of his throws. With time in the pocket, throws to the sideline. That pass is bobbled and incomplete. He was looking for his tight end, Brian Blanzy.
Well, you notice that, Mace, that was a deep out. That was like a 22-yard out. And watch this. The lefties don't drive the ball as hard. It floats a little bit. On most lefties, that's just the way it is. But they're accurate.
Good hit came in at the end there from Nate Connors, senior linebacker.
As a QB, I always hated this, Mace, when a guy comes off where you're one short and he comes off the sideline before you're going to snap the ball. It doesn't build a lot of confidence.
Adrian defense anchored in part by Tim McPhee. They're facing 4th down and 9, looking for a stop, and they get it. The pass was low into the secondary, almost intercepted, and Adrian gets the ball back.
Well, that's a great play in the secondary for Adrian, because the Adrian DB, Timmy McPhee, just broke. Watch him break on the ball here. He sees it as a little turn in or a hitch, and he breaks on it. Actually had a good chance for an interception. And I think Timmy's going to be playing some safety today, Mace. He said they move him around according to the front that they use, and he thought today he'd be playing a lot of safety.
It is a hallmark, I think, of the Adrian defense, moving guys around.
Yep.
They always start in a 4-4, but you'll see McPhee in the secondary. You'll see Nate Connor in the secondary, too. That stop on the Bulldog defense, kind of a get-out-of-jail-free card for Jack Werzer in the offense. Only on the field one play before the turnover. Here comes Emmanuel Stewart. Lowers the shoulder up to the 39-yard line. Nice gain on 1st down.
Mace, I know you've done these games before and done a great job for Adrian, but I love watching Emmanuel Stewart run because he's such a interesting running back. He has power, even though he's not, really big. He has power to run between the tackles, and then he has exceptional speed to get to the corner, and he's a good pass catcher. He's just really an exciting running back.
We ran you through the Adrian offensive starters a moment ago. So carry could be enough for the 1st down up near the sticks. Want to highlight a couple of guys that start on the right side of the O-line. That's Joe and Josh Barney, a couple of twins from Woodhaven, Michigan, who at the start of the season were playing on the defensive line. Well, they've found a home on the other side of the ball. Identical twins, too. almost identical measurables to Joe Barney, the heavier of the two by 6 pounds, listed at 6 feet 276. Josh, a fighting trim 6 foot 270.
I got sport coats those guys could wear, Mace, I'm telling you.
I might too, unfortunately. Werzer lobbing that down the sideline. That's caught in stride just inside the 30, and no surprise, it's Jaron McGaw.
McGaw on the long balls always. If he's even, he's leaving. He's got that kind of speed, Mace. But you got to give Werzer credit on this. There was a double coverage. Safety came over the top. DB on the inside. It's a go route on the sideline, Mace. Watch how he just drops it in there. Just drops it in perfectly. Can't throw it any better.
McGaw had a step on Rayshawn Robinson. Adrian knocking on the door, using the run game to set up the pass. 1st and 10 to the 26. It swung into the flat. Leaping grab by Clarence Madison, who we talked about in the open. Freshman from Romulus. That's his 15th catch since the start of week 5.
Well, Clarence, they feel very strongly that he's a special player. He's so athletic, and they're going to try and get him the ball in, you know, a myriad of different situations.
Could be the heir apparent to Emmanuel Stewart.
That's kind of where I was going with that, Mace. I think he is. And those are big shoes to fill.
Big shoes metaphorically, of course. Emmanuel Stewart not a big dude, though he runs like a much bigger back down inside the 20.
He does. You know, some backs have that ability, Mace, especially, you know, Emmanuel's built a little low to the ground, so he's got those low leverage points. It's hard for people to get a real good shot on him. He's much stronger than he appears. Very strong. I'm sure he's got a great bench and leg press in the weight room because he's really strong. He breaks a lot of tackles.
Strong and tough mentally, too.
Yep.
Great leader on this Adrian team. It's 3rd down and manageable for the Bulldogs. Trying to get it inside the 16-yard line. Go to Emmanuel Stewart again, exploding across the middle of the field for a 1st down.
The other thing about Emmanuel, and it was displayed on that run right there, Mace, is that he's patient. The hole's initially clogged up. It wasn't visually there. Watch, we get a good look at it. Dom, give us a look. It's a tag play. They brought 2 of their big guys out in front of Emmanuel, but initially it was clogged. He had patience. He got in the hip, but one of the big guys waited till it opened up and then burst through it.
That is the advantage of being that size. You can kind of hide behind the offensive line, and if they're getting good push, you're 4 or 5 yards down the field before they have any clue where you are. Werzer looks to throw, fires to the end zone, was looking for McGaw, and that's pass interference on Robinson.
Yeah, and that's a great call by the official. He was right down there. He saw it. McGaw is such a great receiver. You got to get physical with him. You try to get physical with him and move him off his mark. And there was a little contact both ways, but I think it was a really good call. And to your point, Mace, you brought up a great point. You know, there's not much new in football, but back in the late 60s and early 70s, Hank Stram, a legendary Hall of Fame coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, that's exactly what he did. He went out and got running backs. They were all 5'9", 5'10", 5'11", and then you get these huge offensive linemen, and that's exactly what he did. He put them in behind these guys, and I'm telling you, defensively, they couldn't parse them out. They couldn't find them. By the time they found them, they were 7, 8 yards down the field. So it is a technique that works.
If Clarence Madison does eventually take over at tailback, he's built similarly to Emmanuel Stewart, a little bit bigger at 5'9", so 2 inches taller, but still 170 pounds. This might be Emmanuel Stewart territory again, though Werzer, the quarterback, can run it himself. It is Stewart, and he's into the end zone for the first touchdown of the game.
Well, blocking on the right side, Mace, was very good. There were a couple of different holes that Emmanuel could have run through there for the touchdown as he gets lifted up by one of his offensive linemen who did a great job for him. I really think he gets lifted up again. I think he's good enough, Mace. Watch this play. It's just a reach to the right, takes it out on the edge, and it looks easy, actually. I think Emmanuel's good enough, Mace. He could play in Canada. He could do some arena league and maybe get in a pro camp someplace. I mean, he really has a special skill set.
The Adrian extra point is good. Pushed through by Cooper West, the freshman from Belleville, Michigan. And a great start for Adrian after the early turnover. Bouncing back, Adrian with a touchdown from Emmanuel Stewart, 7-0 Bulldogs.
West will kick off for your Bulldogs. Back deep for Albion, number 4, Marlon Martin, and number 6, Isaiah Gibson.
Adrian kicking off after taking a 7-0 lead. Kick flies out of bounds. That was a tremendous drive we just witnessed
really
from
was.
Adrian. And shaking off that tough start with the tipped interception on the first play.
And the key to the drive, Mace, was Worcester on the go route on the sideline. And you get another look at Stewart getting in. That was easy. But the go route on the sideline was a tough throw. About a 38-yarder, double coverage, single safety over the top, cornerback underneath. And Worcester just dropped it right in the basket.
We'll see what the Albion Britons come out with on offense. Didn't look like they were in really any kind of a rhythm on their opening drive, though they were very much in rhythm the first 3 games of the season. Before they entered MIAA play, they were averaging an eye-popping 57.3 points per game, including a 59-point outburst on the road at Defiance in their season opener. Throwing out first down is Kyle Thomas into the flat, well out of the reach of Colin Poore, a senior wideout from Tipton, Michigan. He went to Clinton High School. We see them occasionally on BCSN back home when they play Whiteford.
Yep. I'll tell you what, Mace, as an offensive coordinator, I always thought it was very important to get your quarterback feeling good early in the game, and that is giving him passes that you know he's going to complete, that put his confidence up.
Thomas with time again, room to run to his left. He'll try and take off, but he's penned in and shoved out of bounds by Nate Connor, who has made a number of big plays defensively for the Bulldogs these opening 4.5 minutes.
Well, the rush moved Thomas out of the pocket, moved him off his spot. It's always important to do that to a quarterback. You make a move, don't let him be comfortable, and then credit the coverage in the back for the Adrian folks in the secondary, because nobody was open, Mace.
Still no Kevin Smitherman after that early injury. But it's a young man from Napoleon, Brant Pfister, a junior, who's out there taking his place. That was underthrown by Kyle Thomas. A 3-and-out for Albion. And I tell you, Tom, the Adrian defense looking awfully solid early.
Well, when you look at the flags around by the scoreboard, Don probably give us a look at that somewhere, our outstanding director. The wind is a lot stronger than maybe it appears on the set. It's pretty strong down on the field.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. It's pretty strong down in the field, and nothing bothers a quarterback more than a good, strong wind down in the field. And he tried to make that throw to the sideline, and he just couldn't get enough on it.
Punt will hop out of bounds, and Adrian will take over inside their own 20-yard line. There is a flag down at the 43. Let's go down to the sideline and say hello for the first time today to Kaylee Mizell. Hi, Kaylee.
Hey guys, I just wanted to give you guys an update on Kevin Smitherman. I talked to him on the sideline. He says that he's feeling a little bit of pain in his foot. One of his toes seems to be dislocated. They're trying to get it wrapped up, seeing if he can put pressure back on that foot. And if he can, with no pain, we'll see him in the game later on today.
Kaylee, thank you. Dislocated toe sounds kind of unpleasant.
Well, you know, Mace, I can tell you something about that. I've had that in football, and Kaylee's spot on. What they're going to do is tape one toe to the other, and if you can stand the pain, it's not going to hurt you any more than that. So it's just a matter of, you know, if you can tolerate that.
Lengthy discussion on what this flag is about. The officials have come over to talk with Jim Deere, ninth-year Adrian head coach.
I love talking to Jimmy Deere. You were talking about him before the ball game, Mace, and we talked about him in the open. You know, he's just such an honest coach. He's just a hard hat, lunch pail, straightforward. That's how he was as a player here. He was a really tough physical player at Adrian, and he coaches exactly the same way. It's honest football, and it's fun to watch.
He is honest as the day is long, and hopefully this day isn't as long as the last time we were up here.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It was a classic rain delay, lightning delay, or thunder delay, or whatever it was.
So it's a personal foul on Albion, and Adrian has elected to force the Britons to re-kick.
Yep.
Which is the right decision, you would think, with the Bulldogs otherwise being penned in inside the 20.
Absolutely, it's a good decision. Again, the wind is pretty tough here today when you're down on the field, Mace. It's going to affect the game in a lot of ways.
Sam Blanzy, who is also the Albion backup quarterback, is the punter. He's been pretty good this year, averaging almost 37 yards a kick, but here punting into the wind. Much better field position for Adrian. That will take a left turn out of bounds around the 33. So ultimately the decision to force Albion to re-kick saved them about 20 yards.
Yeah, that's a plus, and you know, that kick was almost blocked too, Mace. That came within an eyelash of being blocked.
Adrian hasn't always won the special teams battle this season. Albion lost their special teams battle last week. They lost to Kalamazoo by a point, 20-19, thanks in part to missing an extra point with under 30 seconds left that would have forced overtime.
Mace, if you're solid in the kicking game, it's going to win 2 or 3 games for you on a regular, season schedule. It's just that important.
See what kind of response Adrian has after a terrific run-heavy drive last time. First down carry up to the 38-yard line. That's Colton Randall, a junior from Royal Oak.
What Jimmy Deere likes to do, Mace, and you've seen him before, is he likes to pound the football, eat the clock, keep the other team's offense on the bench. I haven't figured out how you score from the bench if you're the offense. You can't, score. So he keeps them on the bench. That's what he does. Eat the clock, run the football, run it. Then you crowd the box, and then he'll throw over the top on you.
It's a 4-yard gain for Randall on first down out into the flat. This is what Clarence Madison can do so well. He creates a first down up to the 47.
Well, that's just a running hitch on the outside. It really is a running hitch, and actually those are running plays, Mace. I mean, the percentage of completions of those are probably about 85%, and it's just a running play. It's a way to get an elusive back out on the corner one-on-one with somebody. And if you have to come up and make those tackles constantly, you're going to miss. And the time you miss, it goes to the house.
And he will make guys miss, that's for sure. This is Randall again. Modest gain on first down across midfield, right at the teeth of the Albion defense.
But it's a good strategy, Mace, when you run at the heart of a defense, even if you're only getting a couple, 2, 3, 4, but you're running at the heart of the defense. In the third and fourth quarter, that's where those runs really pay off. Those 2 and 3 yard gains suddenly become 18 or 20. Gashing the defense in the middle is really a great way to win a ball game.
Second down and 7 with Emmanuel Stewart back out there. The motion man is Cal Raker, the tight end. Give this to Stewart. He'll run right behind the big tight end Raker. Leaping forward. Might have the first down. Depending on the spot, I think he should have it. Up around the 42.
A normal running back, Mace, that would have been a 1 yard gain or a loss. I mean, Albion did a pretty good job setting the edge, and he just outruns the edge. Emmanuel Stewart, you're really, truly, Mace, I really believe that this young man could play at the next level. See the little deke move? Nice camera shot by our gang, as usual. A little deke move, and he got out on the edge, but a normal back isn't getting there. He can definitely play on the next level, whether that's Canada or Arena or get in a pro camp someplace. He's got a special skill set.
First and 10, Werzer to throw into the flat. This time it's to the near side with Clarence Madison. And a really nice tackle in space from Daryl McIntyre, a senior from Detroit. A couple of good senior corners. We've seen Rayshon Robinson on the other side have to deal with Jaron McGaw. You put McGaw on one side and Madison on the other, you can really, really attack these defenses downfield.
They had it set up, Mace, but McGaw couldn't get the block on the outside, and he, the kind of player McGaw is, he tapped his own jersey and told the head coach, that's on me. I didn't get the block, because if he gets that block, Madison's still running.
Might have been 40 yards instead of 4.
Right.
Take the give on the jet and the handoff. Werzer hit as he got rid of it. That's caught for a first down up at the 25-yard line. Spinning ahead for a couple of extra yards was Donald Scott. Just his 3rd catch of the season, but a big one to move the chain.
That was an impressive catch, Mace, because he went up and got the ball at the high point. Watch this. They make the little cross buck fake, put it up in the slot. See how he goes up and gets it at the high point? Great job.
In those 2 extra yards after the catch. You never know when you're going to need those 2 extra.
Yeah. Well, a lot of receivers, Mace, they don't want to sometimes leave their feet and go up and extend like that, because sometimes bad things can happen to you, but a quarterback loves it when you do it.
Really impressed with the way Adrian has been able to carve up this Albion defense. Daryl McIntyre right on the hip of Donald Scott as soon as he caught the ball, so nothing after the catch this time.
Well, those are plays that put so much pressure on the defense on Mace. That time Albion made the play and they brought Scott down, but if you throw enough of them, you're going to miss, and when you miss, again, it's 20, 30, or going to the house. And again, and Adrian's eating clock, Mace. There's 5:32 left in the first quarter, and basically it's been all Adrian on offense.
They've had nice gains on first down, too. No 2nd and long, really, to speak of. Here's Emmanuel Stewart up the middle, shutting off would-be tacklers and fighting his way down to the 6-yard line. He carried Josh Padel, who had that early interception, for an extra 5 yards or so at the end of the run.
Well, that's the weight training we were talking about with Emmanuel Stewart. It's a straight 0 gash play right up the middle. And look at his strength. I mean, he's just dragging people. He's a very strong running back. He runs through a lot of tackles.
Might have a stat line similar to what he did last year against Albion in a thrilling 34-32 win. 39 carries, 219 yards, and a score. Though he might get his 2nd touchdown run of the day on 1st and goal. Fake the handoff to Stewart. Pass on the crossing route is broken up. Good coverage that time to deny a touchdown for Jaron McGaw. It was Rayshawn Robinson, who you may remember in a similar situation earlier was called for the PI.
Yeah, absolutely. And that really was good coverage. And you know what I like about the coverage, Mace, is sometimes DBs, when they get down to the goal line situation, they're defending the end zone. You got to defend the goal line. Forget the end zone. Get up on the goal line and take it away. And that's exactly what the Albion DB did.
Second and goal for the Bulldogs. Emmanuel Stewart, unsurprisingly, is the tailback. The give is to him right up the middle, and there he is, his 2nd touchdown run of the game.
Touchdown number 6, Emmanuel.
Well, credit the left side of the Adrian Bulldog line. They made it easy. They keep lifting Stewie up. Here you go. See that tag play again, Mace. They bring the 2 big guys out in front of Emmanuel Stewart. It's called a tag play. You bring the big boys out front, and Emmanuel gets behind them, and he reads the crease. Good blocking. Good coordinated ball play.
Cooper West will try and tack on one more. West, a freshman from Belleville, Michigan. And that hits the upright and misses wide to the right. So it's 13-0 Adrian. I tell you, for some guys, what Emmanuel Stewart has done in the first 10 minutes is a full game's work. But he's got plenty left in the tank. 2 touchdowns already. Adrian up 13.
That's fine.
4:39 left in the opening quarter up here at Docking Stadium, where it has been all Adrian so far, though right now the wind getting the better of the Bulldogs. Ball has been blown off the tee twice.
Yeah, wind's picking up down there. It really is a little stronger than you think.
Cameron Moore will have to hold it in place for Cooper West to boot it downfield.
No Charlie Brown deal here, Mesa, pulling the ball away. You got to hold it down.
That's a good kickoff, trying to cut it through the wind. And a good return to the near side. A terrific cut right there. He circled out of bounds at the 43. A good return from Isaiah Gibson. Let's go down to Kaylee.
Thank you so much. I'm here with Nathan getting the faculty spotlight of the game, so congratulations. You're a professor of criminal justice. What are some of the exciting things going on in your department?
Oh, there's a lot going on in our department. We have about 150 majors, and it seems like every year we get more and more majors. More students are interested in studying criminal justice. We've got an outstanding faculty, including some junior faculty that have recently been hired, recently promoted. So it's a very exciting department. It's a real thrill to work there.
And what all majors are under the criminal justice? What's all in the department?
Well, in our department, we actually have two majors. That's sociology and criminal justice. And then within the criminal justice majors, there are 3 tracks that students get to choose from. One is law enforcement, the other is corrections and rehabilitation, and the last is law and the judiciary. That's the track in which I teach. And so our students really do get a wide array of offerings within the criminal justice field, and valuable experience, because each one has to do an internship before they graduate. So we put them out in the field to work for different agencies and get a feel for what it's like, to be a criminal justice professional before they go out into their chosen profession.
Now, we can't let you leave without asking about the wrestling team. You're an assistant wrestling coach. How's the team doing this year?
Well, the season hasn't started yet. It starts November 3rd with the Bulldog Invitational right here at home. But we've got outstanding recruits, a great freshman class, great leadership on our team. I think we're going to do really well.
Thank you so much. Congratulations again on the spotlight. Back to you guys up in the booth.
Thank you, Kaylee. Well, Albion hasn't had a whole lot of success throwing the football, so it's been all Doug Freeman on this drive, and it's paying off for them.
Well, the credit goes to the Albion guys up front, Mace. They're opening up some great holes, and sometimes, you get up 13 zip kind of quick, and it looked a little easy, and you take a breath and kind of relax, and suddenly somebody's pounding the football at you.
This time they try to run it right at the teeth of the defense. Markel McCoy in there as the ball carrier. Doug Freeman got a break on that play. Albion doing what they can to try and hang around. They're getting punched in the mouth to open the afternoon by Adrian. There's an injured Adrian player who will hobble off the field. Adrian already one man light, having lost Kevin Smitherman earlier. This is Chris Adams, who was a real standout on this Bulldog defense, a senior from St. Petersburg, Florida. Really impressed by that pipeline from Adrian that runs right down to the Sunshine State.
Absolutely.
That's where Emmanuel Stewart comes from, among a handful of other guys on this team. 2nd and 7. No room at the end this time for Markel McCoy. He has stood up and driven back outside the 10.
In Florida, in the high school ranks, Mace, it's different because obviously the weather's great for the most part year-round, and they have spring practice. They're outside, they get a lot more reps, and I think it's a little easier to develop some of the skill players in Florida.
One of those Floridians, Adrian Kirkland, was involved in that tackle, a sophomore from Riverview. 3rd down and 6 for the Britons. Kyle Thomas looking to throw for the first time on this drive. He takes off, fires to the back of the end zone, and that pass is caught on the run for a touchdown by Kyle's younger but larger brother, Justin.
Well, a family connection there, Mason. They got a little lucky on this because what they were doing, it's an old Bill Walsh, San Francisco 49er play. You put somebody to run the back in line of the end zone. Nobody covers the back in line. They had two guys open on the back in line together. Normally that's a bad thing when two receivers are together, but the younger brother bailed out the other brother.
Well, Justin Thomas not playing like a freshman. That's his 28th catch of the season already. Andrew Fabry hits the extra point, though there is a flag.
It's so interesting, Mason. So many things in football aren't really new. Dwight Clark used to play for the 49ers, and you know, he used to run the back in line, and Montana would find him, and that's how they did it.
So a personal foul on Stephen Moses of Adrian. It will be enforced on the kickoff. You talk about the 49ers. Kyle Thomas on the rollout, throwing like Steve Young to his brother Justin.
I like it, Mace.
Albion on the board late in the first. .210 left in the opening quarter here at Docking Stadium. Albion has just scored. It's 13-7 to the Adrian Bulldogs. It's 1st and 10 for Adrian at the 25-yard line. Bulldog offense has been firing on all cylinders so far. Colton Randall here is the tailback. Ran right into the waiting arms of a big, burly Albion defensive lineman. So a short gain on 1st down. Let's go down to Kaylee.
Hey guys, I just wanted an update on Chris Adams. He told me that somebody landed on his ankle. He's fine, not in any pain. They're gonna wrap his ankle up a little bit tighter and you'll see him later in the game. Also an update on Kevin Smitherman. I talked to him and said, hey, do you think that we'll see you in the game? And he looked at me with a sly smile and said, absolutely.
Kaylee, thank you. It'd be huge for Adrian to get Smitherman and Adams back at some point. Jack Werzer will take off. The first time we've seen him run today. Slid away from one defender before being smothered by the next two. A gain up to the 30-yard line with Sean Cubitt-Miller on the tackle on the previous play. And let me tell you, at this level, you don't see a lot of guys with his size at 6'2", 285, combined with the athleticism that he throws at you.
No, you're absolutely right. There's no question about that, Mace.
Cubitt-Miller, big senior from Redford, Michigan, went to a Detroit area perennial power in Birmingham Brother Rice. Over the last minute of this opening quarter, the Bulldogs staring at 3rd down and 5. Werzer over the middle, man in all kinds of space. It's caught right at midfield, and he hung on to it despite a big hit from Drew Schaefer and a flag at the end of it, and that's going to tack on 15 more.
Well, I think they're going to call targeting here, Mace, and we'll get a good look at it. It's a skinny post down the middle. Werzer does a great job putting it right where it needed to be, and we'd have to see that a few more times. Dom gave us a look there, but I think they're going to call targeting.
Clarence Madison,
here you
who
go.
hung on to the
There's
pass.
Another look. It's tough. You know, those are bang plays, and the official's right there. And could he have gone lower? Here's another look. Could he have gone lower? Take a look. Skinny post. Yeah, well, he used his shoulder and he kind of gave him the flipper up into the helmet, and I think that's what they called.
It was Schaefer, number 26, who was taken out. Josh Padelt might have laid down that hit, number 27. Remember, he had that interception just 8 seconds into the game.
And the officials are talking it over. What did you see? Here's what I saw. Here's another look. Dom's giving us a lot of looks today. Skinny post down the middle. Now watch, look for the shoulder to come in, the flipper to the helmet. See, I think that's what they're going to call there.
It's like the immaculate reception. There's no good angle of anything that happens.
And you know, again, it's a judgment call. Those are tough calls. Nobody's coming in to intentionally hurt somebody. They're trying to make a tackle.
Madison now being helped to his feet. Jim Deere with some parting shots for the officials on his way back to his sideline. Boy, you'd hate to see Clarence Madison not able to go the rest of this game. He's been so effective so far.
Personal foul, 26. With targeting, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. We will review the play at halftime.
They're going to review it, Mace, to see if it's targeting and then take the appropriate action. But that's a good strategy. It looked like he flippered that shoulder up into his head. It wasn't intentional. You watch this again. There's a skinny post. It's the second guy coming in right there. The flipper on the shoulder. Certainly didn't look to be intentional, but it definitely, the shoulder got into the helmet.
Drew Schaefer was taken out after that play. The other man involved, Josh Padel, on the defensive side anyway, is still in the game. Kaylee Mizell certainly getting her money's worth in this opening quarter, by the way, with all the injury updates that she's had to provide us with.
Kaylee's doing a great job.
I feel like we're talking about it all the time these days. You never can be too careful regarding head injuries.
Well, the game is changing, and it's changing for the better. A lot of people grouse about it, but the people that grouse about it, Mace, aren't down on the field taking those kind of hits. Everybody, if you're taking those kind of hits, they're making the game safer. They're trying to structure the hit zone, below the head and neck area, and it's a good thing.
First and 10 for Adrian. Werzer with time, gets rid of it downfield, looks for McGaw at the goal line. Pass interference for the second time today on Rayshon Robinson.
And there was no question about that. The official on McGaw's side of the field threw it with such gusto. Again, McGaw's McGaw. It's just a straight post. The DB knew he was beat, and he grabbed a hold of number 1. McGaw has such an ability, Mace, to just beat people deep. I mean, his speed and quickness and the way he runs routes, very difficult to guard. I really think if you're going to handle McGaw, you need a man on and a safety over the top. I mean, I just don't think that one person is going to cover him.
Yeah, there it is again. That first step of his is just so quick. Pretty remarkable to think that this is a guy that was brought in as a defensive back.
Eligible receiver downfield, number 71. Defensive pass interference, number 24. Will plays offset. Repeat the down.
So an ineligible man downfield for Adrian.
That hurts a little bit. One of the big guys kind of waddled downfield a little bit during the pass play. It happens, especially on longer pass plays. But McGaw really, boy, he had him beat on the post. I'm sure they'll come back to that. Adrian is not double covering McGaw. They're not putting a safety over the top of him, so.
So still first and 10 after all that. First down, head up to Emmanuel Stewart. Just runs so hard, pursued and dropped from behind by Donovan Slates, who is from Adrian, incidentally. Went to Madison High School, but playing his college ball at Albion.
But Mace, it's the fluidness of his running style. He makes it look easy. He makes it look effortless, whether he's running between the tackles, whether he's running to the edge. He is really a special talent.
And that was the final play of the opening quarter. First quarter clock will tick all the way down. It's been an entertaining game so far here at Docking Stadium on the campus of Adrian College. Couple of touchdown runs for Emmanuel Stewart, but Albion finding their feet in the ground game. They've come back with a score of their own. 15 minutes in the books. It's 13-7 Adrian.
While at Adrian College, served as the president and treasurer of the Albion chapter of the Alpha Omega fraternity, in addition to being the vice president of Mortarboard and a member of both the math and physics clubs. Additionally, Will served as a resident assistant for 2 years and was recognized as the RA of the Year for the 17-18 academic year. In the summer of 2017, he worked as a research assistant in the Nuclear Science Lab at the University of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana. Currently, Will works as a part-time data analyst for a medical auditing company. Ladies and gentlemen, your student scholar of the game, Will Beltman.
Back for the start of the second quarter, and Albion had that handoff to Emmanuel Stewart snuffed out. Good pursuit by Donovan Slates, and Mitchell Aronson wasn't far away either. Big number 91 for the Britons. 10 tackles for loss and 7 sacks so far this year. He's one to watch for sure. Big Mitchell, 6'5", 240 pounds, out of Zeeland, Michigan. Loss of a yard, and you don't see that very often when Emmanuel Stewart is running the football. And movement up front. That's on Adrian.
Well, I'll tell you, Mace, the way that Albion is lining up to the formation that Adrian has, McGaw is one-on-one. There's no safety help at all. You know, any kind of a sluggo route's a slant and go, or automatic go and fade. You know, now they're bringing the safety over a little bit. Maybe he can help out, but I just don't. Yeah, they're bringing the safety over to help out a little bit on McGaw now.
Werzer running to his left, being pursued by Aronson and lit up by Malik Bozell, the other defensive end.
Well, credit the Albion defensive coordinator on that, Mace, because the previous play that they didn't get a chance to run, they had McGaw single covered, and I think Adrian would have had a huge play. They came back and lined up the second time, and they double covered him, and they were trying to get to McGaw, and it wasn't there. So.
Well, you talk about sluggo routes. That time, Malik Bozell was sluggo, and Jack Werzer was Mr. Bill.
I like it, Mace. It's pretty good.
Third down and 21 for the Bulldogs. Aaron McGaw lined up to the top of your screen, but a whistle before the snap, and it's delay of game, and things going from bad to worse.
Well, you know, and if they're going to double McGaw, you might say, well, then what do you do about that? You know, do you just ignore him all day? No, what you do, Mace, is if they're going to try and double one of your receivers, you put them out in a bunch set, like a trip set, because it's really tough to double somebody in trips. Extremely difficult.
Got to get it inside the 15-yard line. Werzer faked the handoff, moving to his right. Got the pass off on the screen to Joe Cleary, his tight end. He's undercut at the 32-yard line by Jacob Clark.
That's okay. It's a smart play by Werzer. A little boot action came out, had the tight end underneath, and he just dropped him the ball and made a little positive gain. you're not going to get that all back at once.
Fourth and long, you can't really punt it from here. I would think you go for it. Heave one downfield for Jaron McGaw and see what happens.
Absolutely, Mason. And again, eventually I think you put McGaw in a bunch set, in the trip set, because they are doubling them now. They put a man on top of him, and they're bringing a safety over to help out.
McGaw had a step on Robinson, pass down the sideline, almost intercepted by Robinson, who recovered well, and that's a turnover on downs.
Yeah, see, they had him bracketed, Mace. They had bump coverage right on him at the line of scrimmage, and then they brought the safety over the top, so there was really no place to put the football. You get another look at it here. The safety comes over the top. He's bracketed inside and out. And credit the Albion defender. He took away the inside. Anytime you take away the inside, you have a right to the football.
So back come the Britons, trying to build after that touchdown throw from Kyle Thomas to Justin Thomas earlier. First down carry for Doug Freeman, who was really the guy who got things going on that scoring drive.
Yeah, they ran the ball. Albion did that one little segment. They ran it very well. Kyle Thomas has struggled with the wind down here, Mace. It really has bothered him. He has not been able to drive the football. We talked about lefties not having a power stride. They don't really push the ball as hard as right-handed throwers, so the wind would bother him a little bit, I would think.
Fake the screen to Freeman, and the pass was deflected at the line. So third down coming up. Albion with losses in their last two games by a combined 6 points. Lost to Hope 2 weeks ago, 29-24, and last week that heartbreaker 20-19 to Kalamazoo. It's a Kalamazoo team that was picked second to last in the MIAA coming into the season, but right now they're 6-0, tied with Trine atop the league. 3rd and 10 and a handoff up the middle, right at Tim McPhee, and that's not really a good idea if you're trying to get the first down. Zach Serzo with his first carry of the day.
And Mace, you're a baseball guy. You know, most of the hard throwers in the history of baseball have been right-handers. You know, you occasionally get a lefty that can bring it, but they're mostly softer tossers, and you know, it really holds true with quarterbacks in football. The lefties just don't drive the football.
Not a lot of Randy Johnsons out there.
No.
And he had to be 6'8", 6'9" to generate the power that he had.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
That's a bad snap over the head of the punter. Sam Blanzy scrambles, just throws it away, and that's the right decision because he couldn't afford to be hauled down inside the 10.
Well, it's nice to have an ex-quarterback back there, Mace, because they're smart enough to, you know, realize that that's what you do. He had no chance to get that punt, by the way. That was a dirigible. That was airmailed. Look at this. He had to be 7 feet tall to try to finagle that one.
I think the officials right now, there's the flag right at the 9.
Well, they're going to
intentional grounding.
Yeah, they're going to say there's no receiver out there, which there wasn't.
Now that, is it a spot foul or is it 5 yards from the line of scrimmage? I think that might be what the official was trying to figure out.
That's what they're discussing, and they're spotting it right where he threw it. And it's a good call. There was no receiver down there, obviously.
Not sure I've ever seen intentional grounding called on an attempted punt.
Yeah, well, normally, you know, when you heave it downfield, they let it go, but they didn't this time.
So half the distance to the goal from the 8. So Adrian sitting pretty at the 4. As we wait, let's go down to Kaylee.
Hey guys, we've seen it this game. The Adrian defense is just stopping Albion right now. They've held them to just 4 first downs. They're 1 in 4 on third down efficiency. And I asked the Adrian Bulldogs, what is up with this defense? What is your guys' identity? And they said, you know what? We're just going to play where we're at. So those position switches, playing where they're at, that's a part of their identity as a defense. They buy into it, and they love doing that.
Thank you, Kaylee. Sounds kind of like that amoeba defense that Jerry Tarkanian used to employ
I like
so
that,
long
Mace.
ago. You're kind of positionless. You're just out there making plays.
You know what? That's a good analogy, Mace. I like that. And Kaylee, that's a good observation. And McPhee, you know, when we talked to him, he said he enjoyed playing a lot of different positions, and it's fun.
So after all of that, it's 1st and goal for Adrian back at the 9.
Spot foul, lost it down, and that's why we're where we're at.
After that lengthy discussion. 1st and goal for Jack Werzer and company. Quick pass, missed McGaw on the out route.
You know, normally on any kind of a field goal mishap or a punting mishap, Mace, you have what we call a fire call. So you yell fire if you're back there, so the punt goes over your head, you get it, you yell fire, and the fire, the 2 ends release and look for a pass. Well, they must not have had a fire call because if somebody would have released, they would have been okay.
Well, both touchdowns so far have gone the way of Emmanuel Stewart. See if he gets a look in here on 2nd down and 9. Would have plenty of room to run if he ran to the right. Instead, it's a pass over the middle. Perfectly thrown by Jack Werzer, and an easy touchdown for Joe Cleary, the tight end.
You know, that was almost too easy, Mace. I think what Adrian did, and credit Coach Deere and his fine offensive staff, they spread Albion out so much. There was nobody in the middle for help. Look at the middle. I mean, you could drive a large bus through the middle and not touch anybody. There was no safety help in the middle. It was easy pickings. Drive, slant, touchdown, well-thrown ball.
Now, the last time Cooper West attempted an extra point, he pinged the right upright, and it fell away no good. See if he can convert it this time. That looked a little bit better. A lot better, in fact. And it's 20-7, Adrian. First touchdown pass of the day for Jack Werzer, hooking up with his tight end, Joe Cleary. And the Bulldog lead is 13. Well, the wind rearing its ugly head again. Cooper West's kickoff will need to be held. Bulldogs up 20-7 on Albion after a nice touchdown throw from Jack Werzer to Joe Cleary. West's kickoff is a short one, caught on the run at the 20-yard line. And return up across the 30 as a flag comes flying in from the back.
You know, Mace, there are so many penalties in the kick game. It's just, you know, on any level, whether it's pros, college, or high school. Did a high school game last night, and almost every kick return, there was a penalty, and it's really tough. It's tough on the officials.
So holding penalty on Albion will back them up 10 more yards. In the meantime, let's go down to Kaylee.
Hey guys, I'm here with Zachary Todd, junior drum major. Zachary, tell me about the band this year and what special sideline show, or it's what halftime show you guys are doing.
Yeah, the band this year is doing a show all about magic, and the show truly is magic. The people all have come together through adversity and just worked so hard to make the show the best it can be.
Now, we were talking before, and you said something about the band coming together through adversity, and I asked you, what type of adversities does the band face? Get a little bit more into that.
Yeah, so we always have to deal with things like weather, scheduling, not having lines on the field, just anything like that. It's just things that we have to work through. Sometimes we can't rehearse as much as we want to, but the group, like I said before, just always comes together and always works so hard to make sure that we always have a good show.
I see you guys also cheer. You guys must be big football fans.
Yeah.
What's one of your favorite cheers that you guys do for the football team?
Oh, see, we kind of like chirping a little bit, so we like whenever the little beep, backing up, beeping truck thing whenever the other team gets a penalty.
I'm sure the fans enjoy that as well. Thank you so much, Zachary. Back to you guys in the booth.
I like that too. Thank you, Kaylee.
Kaylee's doing a great job in the sideline. That's a cool thing. I like that. The beep of the backup of the truck. Kids get pretty creative, Mace, in the stands. There's some pretty high IQs in the stands.
Well, he said they like chirping. I didn't know that Bulldogs chirp. Thought they might bark instead. You know, the Bulldogs bark and their bite has been big this afternoon. Celebrating the first birthday of Bruiser 2, by the way, the Adrian mascot. I'm sure there's no better birthday present for him than a big win. That pass is low from Thomas as he threw to the sideline.
Yeah, Kyle Thomas is a good quarterback for Albion, but boy, he has really struggled throwing the ball in this win, Mace. He just hasn't found a rhythm. He hasn't gotten in a rhythm yet.
It's 3rd down and 5. See what Thomas can conjure up here. It's been a struggle for him throwing the football for the most part of this opening half. Thomas with time downfield has a man wide open and acres of space, but a huge hit from behind, courtesy of Sean Starks to separate Marlon Martin from the football.
Sean Starks did a great job. He was beating Mace on a deep post, and what he does is the ball hangs a little. It's a nice throw into the wind. It really is. It hangs a little. The receiver has to wait. And do you see on Mace how he came up through his body, not to the head. He came up through his body where the ball was at arm level, and he really jolts it out. See that? He jolts it out. That's a great play.
And perfect timing, too, because if that happens a second earlier, it might be pass interference.
Absolutely. And the ball hung just a tad, but the wind is so strong, you get that. He was lucky to get it out that far.
Yeah, great ball from Kyle Thomas there. That's a big punt. Taken on a hop at the 20-yard line. A fair catch was called for. I don't think Albion realized it. The fair catch was made so early, I don't think anyone noticed.
No, they didn't.
By the way, how often do you see a tight end back deep to receive punts? That was Joe Cleary who caught the touchdown early.
I can tell you, Mace, never. I've never in my life seen a tight end back catching punts. Never, ever. So that's a first.
Cleary's a big dude back there, 6'1", 228 pounds, junior from Hartford, Michigan.
Well, it tells you something about his hands. We saw him, make a great catch, but when you're catching punts is catching punts, Mace, is a totally different gig. I'm telling you, you really have to have great hands, great concentration, a good feel for the ball. It's very difficult to do.
First and 10 for the Adrian Bulldogs at their own 20-yard line. The tailback is Emmanuel Stewart. And lots of movement all over the place.
I think it's going to go against Adrian, and I think that Jack Worcester tried to give him a little hard count, Mason, pull Albion off, but I think he pulled one of his own guys first. When you're going to do that, sometimes in the huddle, you'll tell them ahead of time, Mace, that, hey, guys, sit steady here. I'm going to go hard count with these guys and try and pull them off.
So now 1st and 15. To give to Stewart. Went to his left, all the way to his left, made one guy miss, but forced out of bounds at the 17-yard line by Josh Pedelt and Donovan Slates.
Well, there was absolutely nothing there. Albion kept the edge on the short side of the field, but Stewart still, he makes a couple guys miss and runs through a tackle or two. I mean, he's such an interesting running back.
Second and 13. I don't think we've seen Clarence Madison since that big hit right at midfield. That's a guy that certainly gives a different dimension to this Adrian offense. Werzer was looking for McGaw, throws that over the middle and almost intercepted. Cole Hollenbeck, the deep safety, almost came up with it.
Well, Werzer did a good job. His first look was to McGaw. He wasn't there. Then he went to the tight end down the middle. And credit Albion. They had him covered. They had bracket coverage inside and out.
Jaron McGaw, a guy that is so tough to stop, senior from Indianapolis. That home opener, 256 yards and 5 touchdowns against Buffalo State. So when we say he's tough to stop, that's what we mean.
Yeah, I did that game, Mason. He was unbelievable. But I credit Albion. They're doing a little. They're mixing the coverage up on McGaw a little bit. They're really bumping and jamming him at the line of scrimmage, and they're trying to slow him up so he doesn't get that great start off the line. And then they bring a safety over to help out, so they're kind of working on McGaw a little bit. If they're spending that much time on McGaw, somebody else has got to be open. See, they're double covering McGaw on the short side of the field here. They're going to jam guy on him on the top and a safety over the top.
It was a holding penalty on Adrian, which Albion declined, forcing 3rd and long. See what Werzer can create here. He won't have to. We'll give it to Emmanuel Stewart. And Stewart trying to turn the corner. There he goes down the sideline. Adrian Stewart in a foot race. One man to beat. He'll win this race. Touchdown, Emmanuel Stewart.
Well, we talk about him a lot, Mace. He's a special talent. I really believe he can play at the next level, whether that's Canada, Arena League, or getting a pro league someplace. In the NFL, he is a unique, special talent. And credit McGaw on this, Mace, because he drew the double coverage, and he's taking people away. And then a good block, a seal block on the outside by McGaw. And then once Stewart gets in that position, it's over.
He had to accelerate at the last moment because he had a defender barreling down on him. Great effort by Bailey Camigo, a freshman from Romeo High School.
When you see outstanding long runs like that, there's a wide receiver downfield that is really doing a good job blocking, and McGaw did a great job sealing the lane for Stewart.
It's a personal foul on Albion. Will be enforced on the kickoff, an 83-yard touchdown run. And he was almost out of bounds right at the sticks. Tremendous balance.
Yeah, he's
to stay on the field.
We keep saying it. He's a special talent. I mean, he's a unique talent.
Cooper West has gotten a workout in the first half. Trying another extra point. That is straight and true. Have a day, Emmanuel Stewart. 3 touchdowns already, but I bet this one was his favorite. 3rd down and long, no problem. 83 yards to the house. Kickoff aided by that personal foul penalty on the Emmanuel Stewart touchdown run goes into the end zone for a touchback.
You know, Mace, that was an incredible run by Stewart, but, you know, a lot of times people don't realize when you have long runs, a part of the long run is a wide receiver down there blocking, and I'm telling you, number one, McGaw, oh, thanks, Tom. He's going to show it to us. Watch this. You see one come into it. Watch him baseball blocking and fighting him right there. You don't throw on him, Mace. You baseball block him, which is a less physical block. You stay up, you wall him off, and then the running back reads it and cuts right outside your block.
Emmanuel Stewart thought he could take it easy those last few yards, but Bailey Kamigo was barreling down on him. Speaking of things that are coming down, it has started to rain here at Docking Stadium. First down carry for Albion up across the 30-yard line. We're going to just close our garage door in front of us as best we can. Try and keep our rosters dry if we can. Easier said than done. Nice spin from Doug Freeman forward for a couple extra yards. This is a tremendous venue, but the rain often is coming right at us. Occupational hazard, I guess.
Yeah, it really is a beautiful facility, but when it rains, it does come in on you.
Doug Freeman, a really hard runner. Big body, too. 5'11", 215, a senior from Niles, Michigan. Freeman slid through for the first down. A little bit of a crease, and he found it. Both teams 1 and 2 in MIAA play coming into this afternoon. It's a good back end of the season for Adrian. 3 of their last 4 at home. They'll get Finlandia next week. Finlandia, a new addition to the MIAA. They're located in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. It's been a difficult year for them. A lot of lopsided score lines in the other direction. And at Trine on November 3rd and back home with Hope on the 10th.
Well, Adrian has a real chance to finish out strong and get on a real roll here.
This time it's Markel McCoy just shrugging off would-be tacklers and marching down to the 41. I would think we'll see a lot of running the football with the wind doing what it is right now. The wind has found a way to get even worse.
Yeah, it's well, we talked about it a number of times, but it's really picked up now. I mean, it's big time wind.
We've just had one of the Adrian staff members come out onto the field with his phone. You see to the bottom of your screen and showing one of our officials the forecast, I think, and we might be getting both teams to the locker room. And they will clear the field with 6:44 remaining in the opening half. Adrian up 20. Oh, yeah. For a first down to the 42-yard line. That's Darius Case, the backup tight end. Albion on the march down inside the last 10 seconds of the half.
That was a really accurate throw. I mean, that was a big-time throw. Good protection. And talk about being accurate from 0 to 20, which most lefties are. That was an accurate throw.
Thomas, as you can see, not a big guy, 5'11", 185 pounds. Guy that, in all likelihood, projected as a slot wide receiver in college. Got a fair amount of interest. In fact, his college career started at the University of Findlay, like Markel McCoy, one of his two-headed monster at running back. They both transferred him to Albion. They're having plenty of success. Thomas, a guy who fashions himself as a Russell Wilson type with his combination of small stature and playmaking ability.
You know what? That's a great guy to fashion yourself after. Russell Wilson belies his height at 5. If he is 5'11", I mean, he's able to find windows and throw the football and bootleg out, and that's not easy to do. And Thomas has picked the right guy to model after.
9 seconds left in the half. See how many more plays Albion can get off. Thomas, he's had plenty of time in the pocket all day, and running out of bounds with it is Blanzy, the tight end. 3.8 seconds left. Maybe time for a field goal try for the Britons, and they will bring on Andrew Fabry, who has not missed a field goal all year.
And that was a really smart call by Albion, because Adrian was in a prevent, cover 2 deep, and they went underneath and ran a corner route, and just talking up Thomas, as you were, Mace, he made a beautiful throw there.
This would be a 39-yarder from the left hash. Sam Blanzy is the holder. There's the kick from Fabry. Short and wide left. That's how the first half ends. A bit of pushing and shoving after the kick.
Well, the officials did a good job. There was a little bit of somebody giving somebody the business inside, and the officials got in between them and said, hey, guys, let's get to the locker room. And
Albion hasn't gone yet. The officials having their work cut out for them, keeping everybody separated.
Good job by the officials and the Adrian coaches getting the Adrian kids back. You know, Coach Deere talked about the intensity between the Adrian and Albion series. Mace, I coached in this series, and it is a special, it's big time, and there's a lot of intensity between these two schools.
Jim Deere told us before the game, this is always when the schedule comes out, maybe the first game he looks for. When are we playing Albion? They played a real close one last year, a game that Adrian won by 2 on homecoming.
Well, it's kind of, Mace, their Michigan-Ohio State game, you know, in perspective for them. I mean, for both schools, that's how they see it.
So a 13-point lead for the Adrian Bulldogs at half over Albion. And Jim Deere is now with Kaylee Mizell on the sideline. Kaylee, take it away.
Thank you, guys, Coach. A few weather delays, and now you're going into halftime. How do you keep the energy up when there's those multiple delays where they're off the field?
It's Adrian Albion. You don't have to keep the energy up. It should be up all day, every day. You only play them once a year. When you play your rival once a year, if you can't get up all day for that, then what are you going to do?
This offense has just been dominant so far, but what's the message to the defense going in to the second half?
Well, they're an explosive offense over there. You know, we can't give up big plays, and we did in that, you know, the beginning of that, after that weather delay. So just got to limit big plays, make them work, and get off the field when we can.
Any word on Clarence?
He's out for the game.
Thank you so much, Coach. Back to you guys in the booth.
Thank you, Kaylee. Thank you, Coach. That's a shame. That confirms what we thought we knew after he took that big hit over the middle on the targeting penalty. Halftime at last here at Docking Stadium, and a good one and a feisty one. This great rivalry game. Adrian up 27-14 on Albion.
and gentlemen, your Adrian College Bulldog Marching Band.
Like he can do. It is. Wow.
Yeah, I had gone to the third mic because I should. I wondered if, oh, is that what's wrong with my headset? All that crackle? Okay. Let's go to the videotape. Mason Lowry and Tom Cole back here at Docking Stadium, and that first half belonged to Emmanuel Stewart.
That's almost too easy, Mace. It's just a little reach off tackle, and Emmanuel just finds a crease again. Seems like a little too easy. Credit the left side of the Adrian Bulldog line. They kind of block everybody down and create a seam.
This was a really nice throw from Kyle Thomas, rolling to his left, finding his younger brother Justin in the back of the end zone to get Albion on the board.
Backline end zone route, you know, we talked about it. Bill Walsh, the 49ers, and Dwight Clark and Joe Montana made that famous.
Great throw there from Jack Werzer, the freshman Adrian quarterback, finding his tight end Joe Cleary. He had 4 catches for 49 yards and a score, but this, the play of the half, maybe the play of the season for Adrian.
Well, McCaw makes a great block out on the perimeter, and then once you get Emmanuel Stewart there, I mean, you watch him, he's getting 2 strides per 5. When a guy does that, they're moving.
That's a heck of an offensive performance in the opening half hour for the Bulldogs. Almost 300 yards, the number you have to love. 5 of 7 on third down conversions.
Yeah, that's super. And the balance, you know, Coach Jim is always about balance. Look at the balance, 177 rushing, 121 passing, 298 total. That's great balance. Albion, on the other hand, at the end they threw a couple of nice corner routes, but 44 yards passing normally isn't going to get it done, Mace.
Adrian dominant in terms of time of possession as well, over 21 minutes to Albion's 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Halftime in the rain again at Docking Stadium, but all sunny in that first half for Emmanuel Stewart. Adrian up 13.
Well, it's an honor and a privilege. Dr. Docking is in the building, the outstanding president of Adrian College. And, you know, Doc, we've done this for many, many years. And first of all, I want to go on record as personally thanking you. You gave us the first opportunity to do these college games, and now we've gone all over Ohio and Michigan because you opened the door for us. So I want to thank you again for that opportunity.
Well, we're honored to have you. Obviously, your network is fantastic. We get a lot of feedback from people, you know, who watch you on the air, and to have a Division III school have this kind of support means a lot to us.
Doc, you know, because we do go around and we talk to a lot of college presidents, and they're wonderful people, they're great, but you have a little different style, because I've interviewed them all, and you have a different style. A lot of them are at 30,000 feet in their plane looking down at the operation, you know, and you're a guy to me that's landed the plane. I mean, the kids feel comfortable coming up and interacting. You want to interact with them. You want the feedback from the kids, and that's a different approach, and I think it's been part of your huge success. Speak to that, Doc.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, it's a labor of love. My happiest time of the week is the time I get to spend with the students. You know, you're right, I work out with them in the mornings. I play hockey with them every Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock, and I really try to take every opportunity I can. You know, if you don't love the students, you probably shouldn't be in higher education, and I do. And they are a joy to be around, especially the kind of kids we get here. They're smart, they're ambitious, they're patriotic, they're good people. And I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to spend as much time with them as they could. So I don't need the separation. I'm not looking to be the big guy who, you know, people can't identify with. I like to be right on the ground.
Doc, it's so hard to keep up with you because you're always adding new things, but 50 bachelor degrees you can get at Adrian. I think the campus has now grown to 150 acres. All this expansion, Doc, it's incredible. You have other things on the burner?
Yeah, well, this boathouse that we just opened has been a really big thing. Crew, men's and women's crew, is just taking off. We feel like crew is a sport that's healthy, that's fun, that reaches into a lot of different areas of the United States, so we get a good geographic footprint with that. Believe it or not, women's wrestling has been a great thing for us. We just started that a year or two ago. When people think of wrestling, they think of men's wrestling.
Sure.
But this has been a wonderful thing for our young ladies. And of course, there's a lot happening academically as well that's been good for us.
And Doc, I got to bring up the bass fishing. You know, I read the article in the Toledo Blade. What Alabama is to football, Adrian is to bass fishing. You're number one in the country. Talk about that.
Well, I had no idea when we got into this that there are over 500 colleges nationally that have bass fishing.
Yeah.
And we got into it, but we don't do things unless we can do them right. And so I went out and bought 2 or 3 bass boats. We have a bass barn on campus where the kids can park the boats. We have, you know, trucks, trailers, everything that kids need. And we take it very seriously. You know, the kids get together 2 or 3 weeks before a tournament. They study the lakes, what's beneath the lake beds, you know, where the fish are, where the weeds are. I mean, it's a scientific thing that these young people go through. And so it's very cerebral, and they've had great success. Number 1 in the nation.
And, you know, Doc, there might be a little more to that also, no pun intended, below the surface, because, you know, water and air are pretty important to us and our planet. And if we don't take care of the water, we're going to have problems, and I would assume that kids are involved in those initiatives are going to be stewards of the water as they move forward.
You know, with this generation, Tom, the millennials, that how we take care of this earth, what we're leaving for the people after us is very, very important. And so most of the pressure that I get on campus with recycling and what happens to the air on quality on campus, given our generators and whatnot, you know, is it being environmentally friendly? And we obviously always have ways to improve, but it's really coming from the kids, and I think that's a great thing.
Doc, on the way out, a new initiative with Google. Talk about that.
Yeah, you know, kind of quietly behind the scenes for over 2 years, we've been working with Google, and just this week we announced with Google that we have a new computer science program. Kids can take online education classes here. They can go away to a Google camp in the summer where Google will pay for their housing, their food, their tuition to learn computer science. It's an amazing initiative from an amazing company, and there's only 8 colleges in the country that are doing it. We're number 1, and so we're very proud of that.
Doc, you're an incredible leader, making a difference every day. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you, Tommy. Thanks to your network. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Doc. Tom Cole for Adrian College Football.
Testing 1, 2. This is Mason back on my original.
12. Darian's in the building. Darian pitcher. Good to go. I think the buzz is gone, Mace.
Yeah.
Try another headset, or?
Tom, go for it. You know, Darian, it's fine with me.
Well, okay. Well, Darren was going to do color with us. That was the deal.
So what do you want then?
What we regular broadcast, and then I'll give my headset to Darian, and Mace can interview Darian, and then we can resume the regular broadcast. We won't be able to do the color thing. Does that make sense? Okay.
So, but I need a headset that works then.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. You're good.
Yeah, I'm on headset now. Testing. You getting me? Okay.
Pass intended for number 4, Marlon Martin, is incomplete. Flag on the play.
Back here at Docking Stadium in Adrian, Michigan, this second half is just 41 seconds old. Albion facing 3rd down and 6. Mason Lowry with you alongside Tom Cole. A 13-point lead for Adrian as we start the second half of the Bulldog defense. Tom needs a stop here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Albion's kind of come to life a little bit. The quarterback's made a couple of plays. He made a couple of nice throws before the end of the first half that I think it gave him a little bit of confidence, because he wasn't throwing the ball well in the first half. So Adrian Bulldogs are looking for a stop, Mace.
First half statistical leaders. How about the day Emmanuel Stewart is having? 17 carries for 152 yards and 3 scores. Jack Werzer has been effective through the air as well. Albion has had most of their success running the football.
Yeah, Emmanuel's no surprise, and Werzer really is having a quiet, great day. I mean, he really is doing some good things.
Kyle Thomas, the lefty, looking to throw, has a man wide open. It's off his fingertips. On that little out route, he was trying to find Colby Canfield.
Yeah, and that's the same route they completed right before the end of the first half, Mace, and they went back to it, and they had him open again. He's running underneath the cover 2 coverage, doing a little corner turnout. He was right there. It's just Kyle Thomas couldn't hit him.
I got you, Joe. Hey, it's going right, Cleary.
Joe Cleary, once again, will be back to receive this punt.
No backing up.
And Mace, you called attention to it. Oh, the pressure caused that. That's a 7-iron that's been sculled off to the side of the sideline. The pressure made the punter turn sideways and shank it off of his foot. But you called out. You've got a tight end back returning punts. I have never in my life. I'm being very candid here, Mace. High school through college, through pro, through anything, I've never seen a tight end back catching punts, and that attests to the kind of athlete this guy is.
First half drive chart, impressive to me. Tom, Adrian did not punt even once. 4 touchdowns, a couple of turnover on downs, and that 1 interception, that fluke play on the first play of the game.
Yeah, and that was just on the tip.
First and 10, Adrian at the 37-yard line. Quick pass to the 42-yard line, stumbling forward near the first down marker. That's Joe Cleary, the big tight end slash punt returner.
Yeah, slash wide receiver. You know, he can go over. He's a unique guy at tight end. He can go over the middle, catch the skinny post. He can get out in the bunch and trips and catch the hitches and the screens. He's a special tight end.
But there is a flag at the 41. That's the second time today we've seen an ineligible man downfield penalty against the Bulldogs. So back to the 32. That's the kind of miscue that Jim Deere doesn't want to see from his guys.
No, Jimmy's he's a really disciplined coach. He teaches discipline, and he doesn't like mistakes.
Not many coaches do, and they certainly don't want them in a rivalry game of this magnitude. Emmanuel Stewart snowed under up at the 35, a gain of 3.
You know, even a short gain like that with Emmanuel Stewart, if you're on defense, if you're on Albion's defense, Mace, you're holding your breath because very easily that 2 or 3 yard gain can be turned into 70 and gone.
Second down and 12. After the first down pigeon catch was pulled back because of the penalty. Colton Randall in a tailback. Werzer, first option was McGaw. That's floated over the middle and just out of the reach of Cleary.
Well, Cleary ran that straight seam, that middle seam that he runs really well. He's so athletic. He kind of runs by the safety. He was open, would have been a touch. The ball sailed a little bit on Jack Werzer, just a little bit. It's understandable. The wind is really blowing down there. But they had him open.
Third and 12, and tough to throw on 3rd and long in this wind. Werzer will have to try and cut it under the breeze. And that's a terrific grab, and he did make the catch. It's Cal Ranker, the other big tight end at 6'4", 225. And Werzer put that where only his guy was going to get it.
And his guy went up and got the ball. It's one of those middle seams, a straight, and he goes up and gets it. It's so fundamentally strong because he's getting it at the high point. You know, he takes his body up and catches the ball at the high point. That's very difficult for a smaller safety or a corner to defend.
Good tackle, too, by Levi Ladd. He almost stripped that ball away. And movement up front before the snap. That's Jaleel Brown, the left tackle. Levi Ladd, who made that tackle a moment ago, by the way, leads this Albion defense with 40 on the year. Now, he went to Summerfield High School.
Yeah.
And if you're a fan of Whiteford Bobcats football, and we have plenty of them back home, you probably don't like Levi Ladd too much. First and 15, Werzer looking to throw, lobbing it down the sideline, wants McGaw out of his reach, trying to adjust to the ball. Rayshawn Robinson was with him in coverage, and for the first time in this second half, let's go down to Kaylee Mizell.
Hey guys, obviously the weather has been temperamental today. It's raining now, and I talked to Jack Werzer earlier, and I said, hey, if we see more rain, if the temperature drops even lower, are you going to put any gloves on? And he says, no, he doesn't do gloves. He's fine out there with just his hands.
Thank you, Kaylee. Jack Werzer, not a guy that makes mistakes, and we talked about that earlier. Right on cue, he has a hard time hanging on to the snap. It's a loose football, picked up by Emmanuel Stewart. It's still loose on the deck, still there, and Albion will take it back for a touchdown. Are you kidding me?
Well, it's a smart play by the Albion defense. That was, Jack tried to get the ball out in a little side swing pattern, an A swing. It was a lateral. It was thrown backwards. Watch, here it comes. It's a lateral. They pick it up, they stay with it, fumbled around a little bit, becomes a rugby scrum, and Albion gets it and goes into the end zone.
Quentin Jackson, the sophomore linebacker from East Lansing, took that back to the house.
And maybe Dom will give us another look at that, too, to make sure it was backwards. We got a quick look, but it seemed at the time that it was a lateral.
Andrew Fabry to try the extra point. Dealing with the wind, he puts it through. One of the stranger plays you'll see all year. One fumble, another fumble, and then one more upcoming. Johnny on the spot, Quentin Jackson to take it back, and all of a sudden it's a 6-point game. Second down and 5 for Adrian. 5-yard carry by Colton Randall on first down. And this time Werzer will keep it. He sold the fake, but he ran right into Levi Ladd, who drops him at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of 1.
You know, it's funny, Mace. Football is such a game of emotion. And it's amazing how one play, like the lateral, the pickup, the touchdown, and it changes a paradigm in a ball game sometimes. It's an interesting thing.
Albion now playing with all the confidence that we saw Adrian play with for most of the first half. They can get some of that confidence and momentum back with a conversion on third down. Werzer's pass is tipped.
That's why in football, Mace, on any level, playmakers are such valued commodities, because when somebody reaches out and makes a great play, like the pressure on the quarterback that caused the lateral for Adrian and created a touchdown, put us in a 27-21 situation, changed the paradigm of emotion for Albion. If you have playmakers, those are the people that change football games.
4th down and 4, and Adrian going for it. Interesting. Must cross the 48-yard line. Werzer may pooch it, and he will. There's nobody back deep for Albion. And now it's a foot race to keep this ball from getting in the end zone. That could not have worked out better if you're Adrian College.
Credit Jim Deere. It's a great call. Little pooch kick by the quarterback. Quarterback Werzer did a great job. You want to hit it low and have it go end over end, which is exactly what he did. If you hit it in practice 50 times, Mace, you probably couldn't kill it that well and that location. So credit Jim Deere for the call, and credit to Jack Werzer for the execution of the call.
So Albion pegged back to their own 2-yard line. Kyle Thomas with a difficult handoff to Freeman, who explodes over the middle. And a big hit over the 16. Not Freeman, but Markel McCoy, the other back.
Well, there's definitely a quicker, little pace, quickness to Albion. They're coming out of the huddle. They're enthused. They're excited. They're here to play some football now in the second half.
That relieves the pressure, certainly. A 14-yard carry by McCoy. Go right back to that well again, but McCoy cannot wriggle free. He maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. Impressed with the job that this Adrian defense is doing, especially without Kevin Smitherman, who was injured on one of the first plays of the game.
Yeah, they've done a good job, and they've done a good job in the pass coverage. And there's an example again of Kyle Thomas, the lefty, a little bit of a soft tosser. He needs to, with the wind, the way it kicks up like that, even a little swing pass like that, you've got to drive the ball out there. You've got to put a little something on it.
Can't be too much fun to play on a day in which the conditions are changing so rapidly. Thomas throwing down the sideline. That's incomplete. Overcooked that one, intended for his brother, Justin Thomas.
Well, the brother-to-brother combination's been pretty good. They're running a go route on the sideline. But Mace, the younger brother, what he needed to do when you're running a go route on the sideline, you have to align yourself in a little bit. So when you take off down the sideline, there's enough room for the quarterback to drop the ball into you. There was no room for Thomas to drop that ball in. He ran himself out of sideline.
It's been kind of an adventure so far, the punting game for Albion. We've seen a couple of bad snaps back to Sam Blanzy. That one much better, and Blanzy able to get the kick away. It'll be decent field position for the Bulldogs at the 48-yard line.
Well, this is a situation, Mace, where, you know, it's kind of tailor-made for what Adrian likes to do, and that is run the football. And you've got 9:30 on the clock in the third, and then get a heavy dose of Emmanuel Stewart and eat this clock up. And every time you hand him the football, Mace, that is also a home run play because he can take it to the house.
Absolutely. Emmanuel, a guy that is tailor-made for conditions like this. I would expect a healthy dose of him on this series. And he gets it on first down, around to the right, dropped from behind. That's Mitchell Aronson, the defensive end we talked about in the first half, who's having a sensational sophomore year, 10 tackles for loss and 7 sacks.
Well, Macy Stewart puts so much pressure on the defense. You have to team tackle him. You have to run to the football. See how many people get hats around him. See, there's 3 or 4 people around him. If you don't do that, he'll break a tackle, and then you see the back of his cleats as he's headed to the end zone.
Throws on the run. Almost a spectacular improvised play from
Yeah, that's one Mace as a quarterback. You never get down on your receivers because they're the people that make you look good. But Wurzer did a great job. He got out of the pocket. He escaped pressure, kept his gaze downfield, and he puts this right into the numbers. And you got to make that catch.
Not enough for the first down. Adrian might go for it again.
That's a little hitch. They were hoping to get a quick shoulder turn and get him upfield, but that's a great tackle. I'll tell you, that's a textbook tackle on defending a wide receiver and a quick hitch on the outside.
Yeah. We'll do that here in a second. So, Will, what is your major?
Physics and math.
Physics?
Yeah.
Now with your Albion, you might want to keep somebody deep if you can.
I'd be really surprised if Jimmy Deere would go for this unless they're trying to get him off sides with a hard count. It's kind of surprising. You wouldn't want to turn the ball over to Albion on this field position.
Depending on how much faith you have in your defense, it will be that quick kick again, and this one may run all the way into the end zone. Yes, it will.
Well, it's a great
call.
It's a great strategy that time. They didn't get the kind of dead bounce that they got in the previous one, but it's certainly a great call.
Adrian
We've got our
playing
third
the
quarter.
field position game here. They were able to stop Albion last time when they tried to mount a drive. It's a pretty darn good Albion offense. In unconference play, they averaged just under 60 points a game. Not quite as effective in the conference, only around 26. Doug Freeman, though, always effective. Big, powerful run to the outside, upended just across the 30.
Well, the run blocking has been pretty good for Albion today. They had a couple of nice gash runs against Adrian, but the passing game's been inconsistent. And I really think Kyle Thomas, the wind has bothered him a lot today.
This time, Thomas faked the run, threw it out to his tight end. That's Darius Case rumbling down the sideline. He stepped out of bounds. There's a flag back at the 38. That might be a hold.
Well, another athletic tight end. These tight ends in football today, so many of them can run. Many of them former basketball players. I think Dallas Cowboys had just put in their lineup a fellow that never played football. Mace, he was a big-time basketball player, and they made a tight end out of him. And they're so athletic today, the tight ends. They can do so many different things. The Cowboys have a history of that, Mace. Back in the 60s, they took a guy who played basketball for Michigan State, Pete Gent, and drafted him and made a tight end, and he became an all-pro for many, many years. And he wrote the book North Dallas 40, which is a pretty famous football book.
That's Jordan Gambarski. So Adrian, not the only team that can send offensive linemen too far upfield.
Yeah. Those linemen, they want to get in the action sometimes. They're interesting guys.
Antonio Gates, too, a little more recently. Great basketball players in college.
That's a great example. Absolutely.
And in fact, that Hall of Fame NFL career is still going.
Yeah, I mean,
First down and 15 after the penalty. Thomas nowhere to go. Wrapped up and thrown down at the 20-yard line. Big sack by the Adrian defense. Their first of the day, Stephen Moses, the freshman linebacker.
Well, they had a go route on the sideline, and I don't even know if they wouldn't have the pressure on Thomas. I don't know with the wind if he could have gotten that out there. That was 40 yards downfield.
Well, let's bring in the third member of our booth team. That's Darian Pitcher, former Adrian college football player, now a multimedia specialist here at Adrian as Kyle Thomas takes off. He can improvise, that's for sure, very quick as he gets to the edge, couldn't quite turn the corner, forced out of bounds. Darian, thank you for all of your help today. You've been our facilitator here on campus, now getting to join us up here in the booth. What was your Adrian playing experience like? I know you were a very good player in your time here.
It was a lot of fun. My 4 years, we had a very successful class. We won 2 conference championships, 2012. 2014. It was a blast. Wouldn't trade it for anything.
Thomas looking on 3rd and 12. Tap dances in the pocket, races to his left, really nowhere to go, and almost threw that right to Lawrence Austin, the senior linebacker, a little bit low for him. It's 4th down for Albion. And we've heard Jim Deere talk about how big a rivalry this is and how much of an emphasis there is on the Albion game every year. What was your experience like playing these Albion College Britons?
Every week, Albion week, is a big week for Adrian. It's something that you look forward to all year long, and then when the week comes, it's probably the hardest working week of the season. Always want to be prepared. It's almost like the Division III Michigan State game.
Like the Michigan State game, this one having a weather delay earlier, about an hour midway through the second quarter. Fair catch is made back at the 28.
And Darian, you've seen the game as an outstanding player at Adrian from a couple different perspectives, and it kind of gives you a different look. You started out as an outstanding wide receiver, moved to quarterback, so you had the kind of the whole gamut of offense. You've seen it from 2 different perspectives. What part of the game was the easiest for you? Was it wide receiver or was it quarterback?
I'd say quarterback. I mean, that's what I did all throughout high school, so I never really. Not a very good blocker, to say the least. And when you have guys like Emmanuel Stewart,
you got to have the 1-2 in the blocking, you know.
Right. When you have Emmanuel Stewart, you do a lot of blocking.
I got you. So. I get it.
See what the Bulldogs come out with here. They haven't been able to move the ball as effectively in the second half as they did in the first. Jack Werzer looking for McGaw. McGaw trying to get behind the secondary. That's another tipped interception. Ends up with Drew Schaefer. And here he comes back the other way. Schaefer wrestled down eventually by Emmanuel Stewart.
Well, that was a little bit unlucky. Mace, you called it very well. The second tip on an interception for the Bulldogs. And the other part of this, and Darian, you've been down on the field, you know exactly the wind. Werzer's thrown the ball real well. That was a touchdown. McGaw had him beat, and he just couldn't get enough on it to get it out there because of the wind.
And you guys talk about the wind here at Docking Stadium on the field. It is a lot worse than what you can see from up here. So throwing the ball, the kicking game, everything we've seen today, the wind's playing a huge factor. And with that as well, push the ball, couldn't quite get it to his receiver.
Well, you know what it does, Mace, and Dean knows this because he played quarterback so well. You've driven the ball down there. You got the guy open. You see it. You transfer the weight. And the wind just holds it a little bit. It held that ball a little bit enough to allow it to be tipped and run back.
And as you know, you see that all in slow motion.
Yep.
The ball's hanging.
That's exactly right.
It's not good.
D, that's exactly how it goes.
Credit to McGaw to get up there and try to bat it down. Just unfortunate. The safety was over top to be in the right spot at the right time.
Great observation. That's absolutely correct.
First down carry for Markel McCoy, and McCoy has a first down. He's spun down at the 23-yard line. And back to that point, it can't be easy to, in a split second, go from playing wide receiver to effectively being a safety.
That's exactly right, Mace. But that is your job. Your job is to bust up the play if you can't make the catch.
Both Albion backs, Freeman and McCoy, have been effective at times today. Here's McCoy again. He rumbles down inside the 20.
But guys, it's such an interesting thing to me, Darian and Mace, that one play, that lateral play, pickup, touchdown, it changed everything for Albion. Their intensity, their emotion, they're coming out of the huddle, they're enthused. It's amazing what it can do.
For Jack Werzer being a freshman, that's just a learning point. Sometimes just got to hang on to it, bite the bullet. as we see the ball slipping out of this quarterback's hands as well. Not good elements for today.
Thomas had a bit of room to run, wrestled down by Tim McPhee, whom we talked to earlier, the reigning MIAA Defensive Player of the Week.
Well, Mace, Adrian was a good quarterback. He probably never happened to him, but I can tell you, I done that. You know, where you go to throw it, it slips out of your hands, and you kind of, hey, where's the ball? It's down on the ground. I've been there.
To play right out of those old NFL Follies VHS tapes I used to rent from the library. Here's Markel McCoy with a first down to the 11. Needed 3 yards and got 4.
It's a funny feeling as a quarterback when you're going to throw it and suddenly it's not there. You know, a little bit of a surprise.
And guys, this right here, a huge drive for the Britons offense. We've seen a lot of defense putting up points, and they've been stuck in the field position battle. Now their defense gives them a chance and plus territory, see if they can capitalize.
Thomas with plenty of time to the back of the end zone, all alone to grab the touchdown is Brian Blanzy. And now the Britons just an extra point away from taking the lead.
Well, there are a couple things, guys. As much time as Thomas had to throw the football, he could have made a ham sandwich back there. And the other thing is the tight end worked the back end line. Guys, people don't cover the back end line. It's open all the time, and that was a good connection.
This is a huge extra point for Andrew Fabry, who missed one last week that would have forced overtime. That's straight through. And the Albion Britons, who trailed at one point 27-7, have ripped off 21 unanswered points. Thomas, plenty of time, found Blanzy, and the Britons lead by a point.
Yes.
Short kickoff from Andrew Fabry is returned around the 35, maybe to the 36-yard line by Adrian College, now trailing Albion by a point, 28-27. Well, we have a moment. Let's go down to Kaylee.
Hey guys, I'm joined by the Scholar Athlete of the Game, Will Feltman. Will is a double major in both physics and math. Will, what has your experience been like at Adrian, and why have you loved it so much?
My experience has been great. Going to Adrian really helped me grow out of the person I was in high school. I was really in a tight shell, not social, not really able to communicate with people very well. And coming to Adrian and being able to be involved in a ton of things on campus has allowed me to grow to be a much more social person, as well as improving academically throughout my college career.
What about those smaller class sizes that you guys have, and that one-on-one time that you get with a teacher because of those class sizes, that help you succeed academically?
Yes, that helped me succeed so much. Right now I'm in my last math class, and it's with 5 students, the whole class. So it's amazing to have that one-on-one time with a professor. And additionally, there's a lot of opportunity for communication with professors outside of class. One of my favorite things is that last summer I was in a group chat with a bunch of people, and I would go on at night on the computer and play Rocket League with some of my professors. And just being able to have those connections outside of the classroom, I think, helps you to grow into like a more well-rounded individual.
Well, where can people find you in success after your time here at Adrian? What do you hope to do?
I hope to find a position either doing data science, data analytics, or potentially software development somewhere in the Toledo area, trying to stay close to my family if possible, so hopefully that works out.
Well, we hope so for you as well. Congratulations on the Scholar Athlete of the Game. Guys, back to you in the booth.
Thank you, Kaylee. Physics and math, my goodness.
Yeah, I have open transcripts on math courses across northwestern Ohio.
I think I'm going to have nightmares just thinking about it.
Kaylee's done a great job on the sideline today.
1st and 10 for Emmanuel Stewart.
Goodbye.
There he goes.
That's it. He's gone. Goodbye. Forget it. He's gone.
touchdown number 4 for number 6, Emmanuel Stewart.
Mace and Darian, that's what we were talking about all day long. You know, Emmanuel gets the 2-yard gain, the 3-yard gain, but he puts so much pressure on the defense. The first time you don't team tackle him, Big D, you're looking at the back of his cleats.
Very patient. See the hole. Right when he sees the hole, if you give him any space to get through untouched, he will not touch him every single time.
D's.
I've seen it several times throughout my 6 years around here.
Yeah.
He's just home run capabilities anytime he touches the ball.
Well, you hit it right. That's a perfect phrase, home run capabilities. He's got to be a legitimate 4-4, 4-5 guy in the 40. He has to be. He's so much quicker once he gets in the open field than anybody out there.
What I like to see about Emmanuel, too, is once he gets out, if he gets into the second level and he sees safety, he's not always looking to make a juke to get around him. He lowers the shoulder and says,
well, he's a physical guy.
I'm going to let you know.
He'll run over you, yeah. People don't understand the difference, guys, between Mace if you're a 4-7 and a 4-4. You know, a 4-7 is like driving in a car 65 miles an hour. A 4-4 is being in a Porsche driving 110. Those are two different speeds.
Werzer and company going for 2. That's work to perfection. And who else but Emmanuel Stewart on the receiving end? That's huge for Adrian after giving up the go-ahead touchdown to Albion. Emmanuel Stewart, have a day, young man. His 4th touchdown of the game, and Adrian back on top. .303 left in the third quarter. This has been a really entertaining afternoon here at Docking Stadium. All right, guys, Albion has now taken a punch from Emmanuel Stewart in these Adrian Bulldogs. What does Albion do as a reply?
Well, if you're Albion, you just drove down and scored after defense gave you a short field. Defense has done a good job other than that last play, really containing Adrian. They've had the ball. They've played the field position battle for most of the third quarter. So now, as an offense, you kind of look at your defense. All right, guys, you've been keeping us in the game. Now we got to get this one for you. So you'd like to see them drive down the field here and kind of take some time off as well to score. As long as this drive finishes in points, it'll be success for Albion.
Darian, you're spot on, and you know Coach Deere, the kind of coach he is, as good as he is, and as intense as he is. He's not going to like the fact that Albion's run the ball pretty decently today. That's not going to go down very well with him. He likes to stop the run. He prides himself in, you know, Adrian stops the run.
Pass downfield, it's caught. And this will go for a touchdown, Justin Thomas. Back and forth and back again.
Well, brother to brother. Where art thou, brother? He's on the other end of a touchdown pass from another brother. And you know what? This is just mistimed. He was kind of going, he mistimed his jump just by just a hair, and it cost him a big play.
And now a PAT to tie. Justin Thomas, I say he's having a big day. He's only made 2 catches, but they've both gone for touchdowns.
Mace, that's a big day. That's a real big day in football.
A big play target, to be sure. Mabry's kick is good. It's been a wild one already. And we're not even into the fourth quarter yet. Tied up at 35. Darren, how many games were you in like this one in your time here?
There's a lot of games that go back and forth at Adrian. And especially with the Adrian style of smash mouth, run it, Emmanuel Stewart, all this. You talked about Coach Deere not wanting to have offenses run on him. He prides himself on that, like you mentioned. That's big. He also doesn't like give up big plays like that.
Right.
And he likes to see his corners be aggressive and try to make plays, but on that one, you kind of got to play the ball a little better, play it safe. When you have nobody back deep, you're the deepest guy.
That's a great point. There was no other deep help, so you're it. So you got to be sure.
Justin Thomas now with 5 touchdowns on the year, freshman from Walled Lake Western High School. He'll be a good wideout in the MIAA for a long time.
Guys, we talked about how the wind is affecting the quarterback. Look at the special teams, how they're doing strategic plays to kind of place the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the wind is it's definitely whipping down there pretty good.
I'm sure both these kickers have the leg to put it in the end zone almost every time, but now with the wind being a factor, you see kicks like this.
Picked up at the 29. And a good return, just over 10 yards, up around the 40. Let's go back down to Kaylee.
You guys got me curious. I was wondering, Emmanuel Stewart, how fast is his 40? Well, I asked him. He said that he didn't know, but 2 Adrian Bulldogs players looked at me. One said it's a 4.3. The other shaked him off and said, no, he runs a 4.40. And oh, by the way, it was in 2014 against Albion that he set the all-time single-game rushing record with 281 yards. He's currently 64 yards away from breaking that.
That's just one more long Emmanuel Stewart touchdown.
He's just, and some guys are just football quick. I mean, that's a great report by Callie, but they're football quick, and boy, Emmanuel Stewart is that. I just have to believe, guys, that there are other people looking at him for the next level, whether, I've said it a couple times, but in Canada, Arena League, or, an NFL team that, wants a specialty back that, can do things and have that kind of speed. And, man, he's got it.
Emmanuel on 219 yards right now, 4 touchdowns and even 10 yards a carry. Colton Randall got the call on first down. Didn't get anything out of it thanks to the efforts of Sean Cubitt. Miller flattening that offensive line. Werzer kept it on the option. He didn't get much either. Maybe 2, and 3rd and long coming up.
Guys, the way the NFL game is played today, it's a different game, obviously, and slot receivers don't have to be big guys at all. I did a game at Bowling Green where Julian Edelman was the quarterback for Kent State.
Ah, yes.
He ran for 300, or he ran for 200, threw for 300, and I said it during the broadcast that, this guy could play in the NFL, not a quarterback because of his size, but maybe in the slot. Well, obviously the Patriots took him, but you think about it, Emmanuel Stewart actually has more skills than Edelman. You put him in the slot with a good team, he could be a special player in the NFL.
Werzer looks to throw. That's incomplete. It was a line drive that missed its target, which was Jaron McGaw.
Could you guys imagine covering him in the NFL in the slot, coming across, a linebacker covering him in a dig route, Darian coming across the field, or a wheel where you turn up? What linebacker is going to run with them? They're not. That's why Edelman is so effective.
You don't want to see Emmanuel Stewart in space, especially.
No, that's a good way to put it.
As a linebacker.
You don't want to see him in space.
And I have no doubt in my mind that if that situation did come up, I think Emmanuel would be the first one initiating the contact rather than that linebacker if he were to get some body on him.
This is Austin Benke's first punt of the day. The last 2 have been pooch kicks from Jack Werzer. It's a line drive away from the return man and out of bounds around the 20.
It's a pretty nice punt, guys. I don't know why more people don't do that anymore. It used to be the old deal about kicking it out of bounds, coffin corner and all that. 0 net return is what you want, and I would think more people would be trying to kick it out of bounds.
And it's always good to have a punter that can execute the rugby-style punt like that.
Absolutely.
Roll out, low liner, and let it roll like that.
Absolutely,
especially on a day like this.
No question.
It's been so popular lately, that rugby-style kick.
Yep.
You've seen a lot of teams run fake off of it. You get a punter that has throwing capabilities.
Absolutely.
Coach Deere actually called a fake on a rugby in our own end zone a couple of years ago against Olivet.
Dare I ask?
It worked.
Oh, it worked?
It worked. We got a first down. Benjamin Claver.
I assume you wouldn't have mentioned it if it hadn't worked.
Oh, absolutely not.
I'll tell you what, Coach Deere's got to be steaming on the ability of Albion to run the football, move the football, some big plays here. He doesn't like that at all.
There's McCoy lowering the shoulder.
You may see Coach Deere reach for a helmet and shoulder pads, he may get fired up here and want to get out there, because he does not like when a team runs the football on his team.
But the good news for Coach Deere is it is 35-35.
Yeah, that's right.
You have Emmanuel Stewart.
And you have Emmanuel Stewart. That is a very good ace card to have.
Your defense has done a good job against this Albion team. They gave up a couple big plays on the last drive.
Yeah.
But 3/4 of the third quarter, they held their own. They just need to snap back in, get a couple stops, let the offense take care of its work.
And Darian, that's a great point. And Mace made that earlier in the ballgame, that this Albion offense is a very good offense. Sometimes you got to give them credit.
Absolutely.
You have to say, hey, listen, you have playmakers here.
Their offensive line doing a great job, giving Thomas a lot of time to find his receivers, and that's leading those big plays in the last 2 touchdowns on the last 2 drives.
End of the quarter, tied up at 35.
BCSN, available exclusively on Buckeye Broadband, is presented by Palace Buick GMC, doing business with character, and by TAS Electronics.
First play of the fourth quarter, a carry over the middle from Markel McCoy. McCoy and Freeman have been 2 awfully effective running backs for Albion today. It's 35-35. The start of the fourth, Mason Lowry, Tom Cole in the booth, Kaylee Mizell down on the sideline. Mike Duffy joining us in the booth as well in this fourth quarter. Pass to the outside, and it's intercepted. Well, we talked off air about the need for a big play by the Adrian defense, and there it is.
Well, Coach Duffy walked in and said that's the kind of power he has here. Longtime great AD at Adrian, this kind of power he's got. Mace, Coach Duffy says, we need to stop, and we want to stop now. And there you got it. So, Duff, great job.
I need to be in here all day.
I like it. I like it. Duff, talk a little bit about Mace. Kind of got into it earlier in the broadcast, but the intensity between Adrian and Albion, that's a special football game.
Oh, yeah. It goes back to when I played, back in the late 70s. There is definitely no love lost between us. We'll shake hands after the game, but before the game, there's a lot of jawing and talking, and you saw a little bit of it there on the rain delay or halftime. I can't remember which
Officials
one it was.
did a good job. Coaches did separate everybody.
Got everybody out of the way and keep your feet. So it's a great rivalry. It's been forever. I think we're the longest 2 playing schools in the MIAA, and so or the longest rivalry or whatever.
Yes.
It's been great. You know, it's hard fought game. I mean, it's either a 12-11 game or like this one, 35-35. So
well, Duff, Mace made some earlier great points on. I know Coach Deere prides himself on stopping people on defense, but sometimes you got to credit the playmakers. Albion's got some playmakers. They have a good offense.
They're a very good offense, and they have for a long time. And Dusty does a nice job over there. Dusty Brewer, who will be the new head coach at Albion because Rundle has stepped down at the end of the season. And so offensively, they've been a load for a long time. Even when Pete Schmidt was back then, they won the national championship.
Yeah, I do.
Back in '94,
I do remember those days.
They had a heck of a running back, and I can't remember his name, and they had a good passing attack, and a young man from Country Day, I think, was their quarterback. And so it's been, they've been that way a long time.
We've got a good look at Craig Rundle across the way. The Albion head coach is 22nd and final season. It was announced in September that he would stand down at the end of the year. Jaron McGaw, he caught it over his shoulder despite good coverage from Robinson.
Wow. You know what, Duff? It's an axiom in football, but when you're throwing the go route on the sideline, somebody like McGaw, Mace, if he's even, he's leaving. As a quarterback, when you see him even, you put it up because your man's leaving. And McGaw just leaves people.
A lot of people cannot stay with that young man.
Oh, man, Duffy.
The last pass, he didn't even look. I don't know if he thought he wasn't the main target or what, but he wasn't looking. If he just looks behind him, we're probably scoring on that drive.
McGaw is special.
So is Emmanuel Stewart, who's out of the game for the moment. Colton Randall is the tailback. Here he is on first down over the middle, fighting his way forward down to about the 12.
You know, Duff and Mason and I have been chatting so much about Emmanuel Stewart also, and your tight end. You got a tight end catching punts, and then he's running catching hitches out in a bunch formation out on the side.
He's a special
You don't see tight ends doing that. They're not catching
we have
hitches.
four pretty good freshmen on the offense.
Wow.
We have 3 offensive linemen, the tight end, and our quarterback. And I'll tell you what, the offensive center, I coached his father here at Adrian, Todd Peltier, and he's running that offensive line. I'll tell you what, he does a great job as a freshman calling out the defenses and, setting the offensive pass scheme. And I'll tell you what, future looks pretty good.
Oh, my gosh. And Wurzel, give him credit. The wind is whipping down here. I mean, it's really blowing, and he's throwing some excellent deep balls.
Certainly helps when you've got guys like McGaw and Cleary to throw to, and Cal Raker too, the other tight end, had that tremendous catch in midfield.
Yeah, he did. He absolutely did.
Well, Duff knows, Mace, if you can hurt people down the middle, you gash the defense. And
when you can run the football, that sets up the pass. Or vice versa, the pass sets up the run.
Absolutely.
When you're balanced. Oh, that could have been off. Our left tackle moved.
That takes away another chance for a sensational run from Stewart.
We talk about, we've got Mike Duffy here, the outstanding AD at Adrian College, long time, done a remarkable job here, Duff. And, we talk about the pressure that a guy like Emmanuel Stewart puts on a defense. Because if you don't team tackle him, if you don't get 2 or 3 hats on him every time he touches the football, you're looking at the back of his cleats as he's running down the field.
Well, on the 55-yarder he had just a few short minutes ago that he took off. And, he just pulled away.
Yeah,
he and McCaw are the same way.
Put so much pressure.
If they're even, they got you beat.
Yeah. So much pressure.
Just perfect.
3rd down and 9. 3 big targets bunched to the left of Werzer. McGaw over the middle. Wide open in the end zone. It's that man again, Joe Cleary.
Well, Coach Duffy, you said it just a couple seconds ago about how good your tight ends are. And you know what happens, Mason and Duff, I think? You spread people so wide with McGaw and Stewart in the bunch formations, and you spread them and you spread them. Then you send these talented tight ends down the middle. Duff, there's nobody in the middle of the field.
Well, and Albion got caught in a bad coverage. I mean, they were in a 3-deep coverage there. What's the safety going to do?
Right.
He's got 2 slots.
He's got to pick somebody, right?
Yeah, and he picked the wrong way. He came towards us, towards the booth, and if he left the wide open on the outside, and that linebacker wasn't going to cover our tight end.
Cooper West.
How about that
win?
That
one through the uprights.
Havoc on the kick. Boy, I tell you what.
What a game this has been. A touchdown for Joe Cleary. Adrian back on top. Kickoff smothered by Albion at the 23-yard line. Tough to deal with kickoffs in the kind of wind that we've had all day. Tough for the kickers and almost more difficult for the return guys. You never know where it might end up.
That wind's knocking it down, and it's just amazing how it's almost like one heck of a slider.
Yeah.
Just dipping right
Duff,
off the
that is the
table.
point. The wind is it's a knockdown wind. They used to call them a knockdown wind, and television doesn't really give it justice. How hard it's blowing. It makes it difficult when you put the ball up top. You really have to drive the football to get it there.
1st and 10 for Albion. See what Kyle Thomas has in his locker if he can bring the Britons back. It's a handoff up the middle to McCoy. Not a lot of running room. Again, of a couple up around the 25.
Well, now Mason, and Duff knows this from his playing days and coaching days so well, you're only going to get the football so many times now. Mathematically, with 10:27 left, you only get a few possessions, so you have to really make the most of them.
And it's good to be at the advantage.
Yes, absolutely, Duff.
Thomas stops, fires, incomplete. That was several yards short of Brian Blanzy in coverage there with Sean Starks.
Well, you make him, Duff, you make him move off of his spot, or he gets a little uncomfortable.
Well, he's not a good down the field thrower.
No.
He's more your intermediate to short thrower.
We talked about that.
He's got good feet.
Yeah,
he's got really good feet, so you got to contain him. And I think the offensive line has done defensive line has done a nice job containing him today.
It's a defensive line made up of mostly freshmen, too. They're going to be good for years. Thomas with time again, being pursued by DeAndre Jennings. Fires down the sideline. Passes caught. Was he in bounds? He was not.
Yeah, that's a great effort, but I didn't see how he'd be able to stay in bounds. I'll tell you,
like he was up in the air, but
the receiver for Albion did it. He did a good thing here, guys, though. He hung on that sideline as long as he possibly could to give his quarterback an opportunity.
Well, it's hard to see.
Yeah, it's a tough angle. But the official was right there.
Colby Canfield there did well just to hang on to it.
Exactly. I mean, it was a great job getting up and getting it.
Yeah,
but,
and to give your quarterback an opportunity. He hung on that sideline. A lot of guys run themselves right out of the sideline. Yeah. He hung there trying to give his quarterback an opportunity or a window to drop the ball in.
How do you like that little quick kick that Jimmy put in this
week, We talked about that. We thought it was great.
Did that bring Alma days back to you?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
Wow.
That's a huge punt. That will bounce into the end zone.
Into the end zone from there. That was a beautiful kick.
Great kick.
That's your backup quarterback for Albion, Sam Blanzy. Going back to the days of a guy like Tom Tupa, who could do everything back at Ohio State.
Exactly. He did that a few times. Well, it's exciting to have you here, Tom, and Mason, and the whole crew.
This has been
I
great.
pick on Danny, one of the guys that puts everything up. He's the first guy here. And,
yeah.
He's got to get that hip fixed.
I know. Denny's he's a good man, and you're perfect. Denny Robidoux. Without him, there is no BCSN.
Absolutely.
It's just a joy to have.
Yeah, he's really Mr. BCSN and has been from day one. He's an incredible guy.
If we get another score here, it'd be nice. A nice long drive. Use 6-7 minutes of the clock.
First down and 10. It's Colton Randall. He's undercut just across the 20-yard line. Let's go down to the sideline and check in again with Kaylee.
Hey guys, I am down here with Maddie Suave, the cheer and dance coach. Now, Maddie, you guys have a winning squad, but you also have some really exciting things going on this year. Tell me about the dance team and what they've got coming up in January with those competitions.
So we'll start actually across town at Siena Heights at the end of January for our first one. We'll compete with other small schools around the state of Michigan. We hope to kind of dominate at that level and use those kind of more in preparation for big nationals in April.
And you guys have dominated in the past years. What is different about bringing in so many freshmen this year?
It's fun. It's been a challenge for me because it's like kind of getting everybody on the same page and like what is the Adrian standard and how do we get them to that point. But they like super hungry, super eager. It's been really fun working with them.
Is there almost like, do they feel like they have to live up to the past squads and the championships that you guys have done before?
They do, but they also know I recruited them with a purpose, and they're really excited to kind of bring their contributions to the table. So they're good.
And now with cheer, you guys also have some exciting additions.
Yes.
What's going to be happening with the cheer squad come competition season?
So we recently brought on about a handful of really great athletic males. So we'll be doing some more co-ed stunting, and they just bring a whole different element of strength and power to our game. So we're super excited to include them in the mix.
And then for you personally, you took on some new things this year. You're a professor now. Tell me about that and why it's so cool to be here at Adrian.
It's just the perfect time to be at Adrian, I think, and it's like everything is up and coming, and I'm super excited to be able to coach the kids I have and also kind of teach other kids outside of my normal realm. So it's a very exciting time to be at Adrian, that's for sure.
Well, thank you so much, guys. Back to you in the booth.
Thank you, Kaylee. A fourth down punt from Austin Benke. Rayshawn Robinson comes up and makes the catch at the 47-yard line. So good field position for Albion. And we had talked a couple of minutes ago how big it would be for Adrian, not just to score again, but to really eat up some time on this fourth quarter clock. And neither of those things really happened.
No, neither one did. And with the wind, they're pumping into the wind, and so Albion gets it in their side, and that's tough. Now your defense is really got to rise to the occasion.
Well, Duff, you called for a stop the last time when you walked in the door and you got it. Now you call for one more and we can put this thing away.
See what Kyle Thomas and company can conjure up here. Thomas will keep it. Trying to get to the outside. What a tremendous tackle out in space made by Adrian.
Well, Coach Duff, you're going to like this. You talk about setting the edge and not letting somebody turn the corner. There's a perfect textbook example of a good fake, belly fake, going outside with a quarterback keep. And watch this. Set the edge and you keep him from turning the corner.
That's taught. Jimmy Deere's the linebacker guy, and he sets him up pretty good.
It was Chris Adams who made that play. And Albion staring at third down.
And it's interesting you said that, Coach Duff, because Adrian usually tackles well. Fundamentally solid tackling, and that is taught. And I know Coach Jim, that's important to him.
He's always very big on miss to the right side. There's that old adage, and
Thomas kept the play alive, rolling to his right and fired a strike down the sideline to Canfield. That was the guy that almost caught that tremendous throw earlier when he just landed out of bounds. Canfield sophomore from Stockbridge, Michigan.
Well, that's the third time, guys, that Albion's run that play. It's a deep corner turnout, and it's been open all three times, Stuff. They're getting in front of the safeties and behind the linebackers, and it's just been there. They've executed that about three times today.
There's an injured Adrian player at the 42. We're stopped with 6:48 remaining in regulation. It's been a wild game.
I hear how you said regulation, Mace. I noticed you said it with a certain alacrity about that. Regulation, hinting of a possible OT.
Well, considering everything else that we've seen today, including the long weather delay, who knows?
Yeah.
I only have another soccer game at 7 tonight, so as long as we're done before they can play.
There you go.
Katron Denson was the injured Bulldog, the senior defensive tackle from Naples, Florida. He's made his way off. It's 1st and 10 for the Britons inside the red zone. Can Adrian come up with another big defensive stand? No room up the middle for Markel McCoy. He bounced it outside and is in for the touchdown. What a run from McCoy, and a PAT would tie it back up.
That was not good tackling there.
Yeah,
Jimmy's had him wrapped up, and they kind of let him go.
Right, they relaxed a little bit on that, and he ran through it. And, it's still come back to the point, Duff, that, Albion has some very talented offensive players, and it's tough to stop them for 4 quarters. Mace was talking about they were on a string of games where they were scoring 60 points a game. So they have talented offensive people.
Fabre's extra point is good. So the beat goes on here at Docking Stadium. 4 tackling as we identified from Adrian here, but Markel McCoy, a huge touchdown run to tie it at 42. Kickoff return up to the 26, 27-yard line. Also a flag.
Well, no surprise. I think on every kickoff I've seen in the last 9 weeks, high school and college, almost every kickoff there's a flag. It's a tough gig, guys.
It's almost like take it out of the game.
Yeah, yeah. It really is tough.
Return. Hold. 58. CBT. That penalty will be enforced. First down.
It's Ben Peltier, the center. So Adrian pegged back deep after the penalty.
Away with that, you know.
Right.
As an offensive center, you get away with that.
Yep.
But on a kick team, you're a little more out in space.
Well, the officials have done a great job today, Duff. Sometimes on the kick, to me, it's just not. If it isn't at the point of attack and it didn't influence the return, you know, you just kind of let it go. And maybe that was at the point of attack and they had to call it. But boy, the kick game is just full of penalties anymore.
I'm sorry.
No.
So the question is, how much does Emmanuel Stewart have left in the tank?
Yeah, I think he's
Running
got
and running all day.
220 yards or something to that effect.
Where's fake to give to him? Threw it up for McGaw.
Yeah, and that's a good call. He had wrapped an arm around McGaw. McGaw was about to beat Duff McGaw on that play. He had him beat again, and they wrapped an arm around. They took the off arm and wrapped it around him.
That, by my count, is the third time Rayshon Robinson has been dinged for pass interference today.
Well, when you're covering a guy like McGaw, you don't have a choice because he's running by you, and you know you're going to get a hand on him. You're going to try and grab him. You're going to try and do anything you can to slow him down, Mace. Oh, they didn't call that. Okay. Okay. So offsetting.
So we've seen 3 pass interference calls on Rayshon Robinson and 3 illegal man downfield from Adrian's today.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robinson, he knows when he loses his high shoulder, he grabs.
Yeah, well,
you know,
a guy like McGaw,
you don't have the high shoulder, you're going to lose it.
I'm not blaming him. I'd be grabbing too. I mean, he's going to run by it.
A full man over the top of you, he might still lose it.
Yeah.
So we'll go again from the 17. Stewart is the tailback. He gets the carry. A good tackle just across the 20. That was Levi Ladd again, the middle linebacker.
I'll tell you what, if that linebacker doesn't get that play right there on his legs, he might still be running.
I was thinking the exact same thing, Duff. And what the pressure that Adrian puts on you, you've got McGaw split to the sideline so far, so he's one-on-one with 24 from Albion. That's a bad matchup. The cover 2 safety has got to cheat over some, and if he doesn't, McGaw's going to run by him. If he cheats over, then Stewart runs up the middle and runs by him. It puts him in a really tough situation.
McGaw, can he run under it? Incomplete. Overshot him by about 2 yards.
You can see the safety trying to come over. Duff, it was too.
Cover 3, and he's got a long way to go.
It's too far for him to get to McGaw. You can't.
You almost want to play it. You can even cheat play a quarter.
Right.
Drop your strong safety a little bit to play center field.
Right.
If he's threatened. If he's not threatened, keep him on the flat.
Yeah, the way he's playing the safety position, he isn't going to get there for McGaw. It's not going to happen. McGaw puts a lot of pressure on you, I'll tell you, as does Emmanuel Stewart. Boy, they put a lot of pressure on you.
3rd down and 4. Cal Raker, the big tight end, the man in motion. Werzer looks to his left, finds the tight end for a first down up to the 30.
That's a big first down.
That's a huge first down.
You know, with the way the wind is, and to have to punt that situation, you're going to give Albion a little better field position, and now you're still controlling the football.
That was me, Mace. There you go.
1st and 10. Here goes Stewart. There he goes. There he goes indeed. One man to beat. Great work by Josh Pedelt to save a touchdown.
He is such a great back, guys.
You know, case, if he lets it set up, the guy sits behind, he lets 91 commit inside, and then he just steps outside.
But Duff, no regular back is turning that corner. They had the corner set. He's not turning the corner. Emmanuel's got to be a 4-3, 4-2. He's got to be in that area, Duff. He just has an ability to outrun the defense that's trying to set the edge. I mean, he's incredible speed.
His lateral to forward.
Yes.
Is lightning fast.
Here he is again, waiting for a seam behind the offensive line and dropped at the 24.
Duff, I kept saying it during the broadcast, and it'd be interesting. I think that he can play at the next level. I think he could go to Canada, play there. He could play Arena League. And the way the NFL is structured today, when you look at Julian Edelman in the slot, he was a quarterback at Kent State. You know, there he is. What are the numbers?
284 yards for Emmanuel Stewart.
Just another day in the office, right?
Yeah, you know, and he'll get up and run a couple miles tomorrow.
He is a force, I'm telling you. He really is.
Running a couple of miles on his recovery day. That's him taking it easy. Almost intercepted by McIntyre.
Well, sometimes in football it's good to be lucky. We were a little lucky there. That was a sit-down hitch. They read it. They broke on it. That could have gone the distance. Got to be careful with that one.
It's got to be thrown more outside.
Yes.
You know, he's got to lead him to the outside, make him go to the outside.
Yes.
You don't have to hit him in the breadbasket there.
Yeah. And the receiver can work his way back a little bit to the ball, so he can't get in between you and the ball.
Flat-footed.
He was flat-footed. That's absolutely it, though.
3rd and 6. Bulldogs 8 of 13 on 3rd downs today. Here is Stewart. Lowered the shoulder right to the 20, but knocked out of bounds.
Well, now Jimmy's got a big decision here. You know, it's 4th and 2. It'd be nice if you could pick up the first down, elongate this drive a little bit, you know, take a little more time off, or do you know, I don't know if you can kick the field goal to this end. That wind is
the wind is really tough. In this situation, guys, do you put it in the hands of the guy that, you know, do you put it in the...
Well, you got a couple of them, because Wertzler's pretty good too. You know, do you use Emmanuel as a decoy and then pull it and either run it or give him an RPO, you know?
4th and 3. Have to get it inside the 18-yard line. It's Stewart.
Nope.
Not enough.
Well, you got to credit Albion. They blocked it up into the middle. They went double tights, closed everything down. Adrian did. It was going to be really a zero gash play right up the middle, and Albion stuffed it.
I think I would have went outside, but you know what? I can second guess from up here. It's pretty easy.
It's a lot easier up here, Duff. I found I was a much better coach up here than when I was actually coaching, you know.
Well, there have been a lot of times today when the Albion defense knew it was coming from Emmanuel Stewart, and it didn't much matter. They weren't able to do anything about it. That time they did.
Well, Mace, your comment about regulation is getting stronger and stronger.
And Albion put a game-winning drive together. First down handoff to McCoy, a really hard run. He carried Tim McPhee for a few extra.
Where's he at? He's got to be over 100. McCoy.
He's got most of the carries in the second half. Thomas kept it, floated out into the flat. Really good grab by Darius Case, and he has the first down. Down inside the last 3 minutes of the 4th quarter. 1st and 10 for Thomas and company. Thomas keeps it. Oof! Big hit at the line of scrimmage. Racing in to lay a wallop on him was Chris Adams. Let's go down to Kaylee.
Hey guys, we heard about it at halftime when Coach Deere said that this is the game. The rivalry is strong, and we have seen it today. I asked the guys, what's going to be the deciding factor? And they said that they just have to want it more and play like that. I know it sounds like, you know, players speak, but they told me that it really is about playing as a unit. The defense said, hey, it doesn't matter what the offense does. We're going to go out there and get a stop, and that's what they're trying to do now.
They Thanks, Kaylee. A cliche is a cliche for a reason because it's true most of the time. McCoy, another good hard run on first down. Second down, rather.
Give it up and give Adrian any kind of field position.
Third down, Thomas will have time. Over the middle, pass is incomplete off the fingertips of Darius Case.
That was almost a really nice catch.
Yeah.
A really nice catch. It hit him in the hands.
Thomas is a really good quarterback. He is very mobile. He has good running ability. He's not a great pocket thrower. He's not comfortable in the pocket. But you get him on the run and you get him out on the corners and the boots, he does a nice job.
You know, get his arm strength up, and he could be a real threat.
Yeah.
He could get a little stronger.
We talked about that all during the early part of the broadcast stuff. That's absolutely correct.
Now, Albion had a couple of issues with long snaps in the first half. One that sailed way over the head of Sam Blanzy. That one was pretty good. Takes an Adrian bounce and is covered up by Case at the 31.
Well,
so a minute 36 for the Bulldogs to find a way to win it.
I was just going to say, Mace, that's exactly it. 136. Adrian's at home. 42-42. You've got great weapons. Wurzer's had a terrific game. McGaw's been outstanding. Emmanuel's off the charts. A couple of tight ends and catch the ball on the seam. Hey, it's time to Duff. I think you load up and you get after it here. You know, I don't think you play to go into overtime. I think you 136. You load up and say, let's go get it.
Run a couple. I mean, you almost want to try to see if can he break one.
Yeah,
and
right.
If not, you know, do you pick the corners and look for McCaw down the sideline? You know, it'd be interesting to see what Bailey and Jimmy decide on what they're going to do here.
Do you go for big plays? Do you go for chunk plays? You know, you can get those with the tight ends, Cleary and Raker. Wurzer smothered, hit first by Sean Cubitt Miller.
Now that changes things a little bit.
Malik Bozell back there too.
What you don't want to do is keep losing yardage and
Yes. Yes.
They might sneak a field goal. They're kicking with them.
Here is Stewart.
Boy, if he breaks that.
Well, it's an interesting thing, guys. Giving the ball to Emmanuel Stewart on any kind of play trying to get to the edge isn't a whole lot different than throwing the home run ball to McGaw. It's kind of the same thing done in a different way. I mean, it's very similar.
Clock is stopped with 57.2 seconds left in the fourth. Adrian would have to cross the 42. Will it be Stewart again? Wurzer looks to throw. Nowhere to go. Down he goes. Mitchell Aronson, the defensive end. And a timeout taken by Albion. They'll get the ball back with a bit of time.
Well, the problem there, and Duff, I can see your reaction. You want him to get rid of the football, and that's the way to do it. It's, you know, a young guy getting reps, understanding the situation. He didn't want to throw the interception. That was the big point, but there's a point where you throw it away.
Guy on the out.
Yeah, you throw it away. Right. That's exactly right.
But you throw it over his head.
That's exactly right.
Field position.
That's right.
Now you got it. You know, Adrian's had a little trouble with their fun team as well. So.
3 seconds back on the clock to 52.9.
You guys, in college football, that's a lot of time. It really is. You can do some things.
And Albion has proven that they can move the ball. Kyle Thomas hasn't been the most effective downfield passer, but he's been good on out routes, and we know his younger brother Justin Thomas, a terrific big target.
The brother has been pretty effective for them. It really has been.
All he's done all day is catch touchdowns. We talked about the importance of long snapping on Albion's last punt, and it's huge here with Benke backed up inside his own 5.
And depending on which way this wind is swirling, guys, if it's a knockdown wind, it could make a good punt, a short punt here.
Rayshawn Robinson is back deep. Good snap, decent kick. Fair catch made at the 48. Worth noting, Andrew Fabry, the Albion kicker, has not missed a field goal this year. He's 10 of 10 and as long as 41 yards, so he does have a bit of range.
Well, that gives us the distance they have to get, Mace. Yeah.
In fact, he hasn't missed a field goal, but he has missed 2 extra points. Might be in his range if Albion can get 20 yards in the next couple of plays. What can Thomas do with it? Out into the flat, up the sideline, and forced out of bounds. That's Colin Poore, the senior wideout.
Well, guys, that's well executed. It's a little running hitch out there. 2 guys out in front.
Like a pitch play.
It's a modern way of running the football on the outside is all it is. But 2 guys blocking out there, and it's tough to defend. You got to come up and make the tackle, and it's not easy.
It's a gain of 9. There's McCoy. No room to run. Should have enough for the first down. And just to clarify, remember, Fabry did miss a long kick at the end of the first half, so he has missed 1 this year. But that was the first. Timeout taken by Albion with 35.8 left. First down for Albion. 35.8 seconds left in this tie game. Kyle Thomas faked the pass, runs to his left. He had room to run, but he couldn't get away from Stephen Moses. What a play!
That is a tremendous tackle. He had 15, 18 yards in front of him. That's a great tackle.
Thomas has to spike it with 17 seconds left.
Boy, what a great tackle that was.
Could be an overtime forcing tackle.
Yeah, they had a lot of terra firma in front of him. Mace and Duff. It was a super tackle out in the open field.
Third and 13. Realistically, you need to get about 15 yards out of this. Albion does have a timeout left. Thomas steps up. So that's the right decision. Throw it to the bench.
That's right. You live to fight another day. Pitch it out of bounds.
When it is 4th down, I mean, do or die. Give Adrian the ball back there with 4 seconds left. I like my chances of Wursler to call.
Absolutely, absolutely.
For the last play of the game.
Absolutely. I like it.
4th down. And a timeout taken right before the snap by Adrian this time to make sure they have the defense right. We'll step aside. 4th down play when we come back.
Struggled.
Here we go. 4th and 13 for Albion. Kyle Thomas with time down the field looking for his brother at the goal line. Touchdown! Are you kidding me? Kyle Thomas to Justin Thomas.
Well, brother to brother, and we've talked about it all day long that Thomas had a little trouble pushing the ball downfield. I didn't know if the wind helped him this time, but he stepped up and he definitely pushed that downfield to his wide open brother, running a post seam right down the middle. Maybe that's a backyard combination, Mace and Duff, that those two have worked for a while in the backyard of their home, throwing the football around.
If you're the Adrian secondary, that's the one thing you couldn't afford to have happen. Fabry hits the extra point. This has been a wild one.
Guys, it almost seemed like it was looked like a busted coverage, because when he ran the post, really nobody picked him up. I mean, essentially he was running free in the secondary.
Yeah, definitely a broken coverage. The safety was nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
In the middle of the field.
What did we say earlier? Justin Thomas only catches touchdowns?
Yeah, you said it a couple times, Mason. You've become a prophet besides a great play-by-play guy. Brother-to-brother combination is something special today.
That's a heartbreaker right there.
It's tough, Duff. Adrian has played so well in so many ways, and football's an odd game, but you got to play every play.
And I think it's the right decision to just fall on it at the 35. No time runs off the clock, and now you can draw something up.
Yes. It is such an odd game, fellas. Adrian has played so well in so many facets of the ball game today. Stewart's had an incredible day. McGaw's been excellent. The tight ends have been great. Quarterback's been good. But you got to play every play in football, Duff. You got to play every play.
Yep. You take one off and you get burnt for a touchdown.
Yeah.
It's not what it comes down to.
Yes, that's exactly correct.
So in all likelihood, just one final play for Adrian. They'll have one deep safety. Albion will, that's Drew Schaefer. He'll be back at about the 40. A couple of men deep as well. Werzer on the screen. This is McGaw. He'll try and find a teammate. Flip back to Emmanuel Stewart. And Stewart, nowhere to go. And that was flipped forward, and that'll be the game. A crazy finish. Albion wins on the touchdown throw from brother to brother. Kyle Thomas to Justin Thomas. There's your final score. Albion 49, Adrian 42 in a thriller. Albion now 5-2 for the year, 2-2 in MIAA action. We'll see you next time.
Sorry, Duff.
Back to work.
All right, Duff. Thank you for.
I got a soccer game to get ready for.
Thanks for everything, Duff.
Yep.
It was
You
great.
good?
Sorry Sorry it happened that way on the end, but.
You got a young freshman. They made some mistakes.
Yeah, but the future's fantastic.
We lose two great ones. We're gonna have to try to replace.
You got a good future.
Yeah.
You got a really good. Yes, there are. Thank you, Duff. Take care.
Sure. MIAA football up in Adrian. The Bulldogs taking on their rivals from Albion, and what a game this was. Emmanuel Stewart, a record-setting day for the Bulldogs, just under 300 yards on the ground and 4 big touchdowns. A game that had just about everything, including a weather delay before halftime, but in the end, Albion able to come up with one more big play. A bomb in the final seconds. Albion wins it 49-42. MIAA football. Seconds, Albion wins it 49-42.